Well, good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome into the Absolute Chaos Live Fest. We are back live with Delta Force. I'm Goj, I'm going to be your host today, and I am so excited to be back. We were just live a couple days ago, but today is all about the chaos, which means it is warfare time, folks. I am so pumped about this one. Before we get into anything today, I've got to remind you to download Delta Force right now. You can do that a modicum of different ways. The main way that a lot of people play is via Steam, but you can also head down right here, playdeltaforce.com. It's also on the Epic Game Store. So wherever you prefer to play, go get involved in Delta Force right now. It's a brand new Starfall season. There's tons of brand new content, and today we get to showcase some of the brand new content with this new season, 2 brand new maps in Warfare. I'm excited about both of these. We'll talk about those in just a moment. Before we get there too, we are live all over the place. So go ahead and drop a follow wherever you're watching us on all major socials. There are a ton of events in the Delta Force ecosystem, and you've got to get involved. Today, we have community players that are involved in today's event just because they are in the official Discord and on our socials, paying attention to event announcements, all types of different ways to earn rewards. There's an amazing Discord community of hundreds of thousands of people. You can look for group and get more info of all your questions. Those can be answered. But also, if you connect your Discord to your official Delta Force account, you receive some rewards as well. A quick look, by the way, at the way things will work around here. But in Discord, you're going to get 100 Delta tickets just for attaching your Discord to your overall Delta Force account. Really important stuff that you need to make sure you go do. So please go do that. Before we get into the format, you got a quick look at it. Fun things. I already told you we got some fun new maps, but I've also got some amazing personalities going to be joining me here in the booth. So let's bring in Taylor Reflections Noble back in the action here with Warfare. I'm excited to have Taylor back with me because, look, Taylor, we had a lot of fun in the last Warfare broadcast we did in the regional face-off, and we've got some familiar names that you're going to recognize today. But how are you feeling? How are you feeling about today's broadcast?
Good. You know, Delta Force, we were obviously, like you said, on the same broadcast, like several weeks ago, maybe a month ago, but it was so fun. The fact that this game is free is mind-blowing. The amount of updates that they're putting out there, the amount of new things, right? New maps, new weapons, and it's free is just mind-blowing. And you mentioned a Discord, right? We're talking thousands of people getting together. I've also been, perusing the subreddits. So there's some passionate individuals, whether they be creators, just regular public players. They're figuring out the game. They're playing the different game modes. They're getting involved. And speaking of getting involved, the 4 creators today, Goj, they're going to be pretty special. And maybe a train wreck to watch. No pun intended to the map we'll be seeing today. But it's going to be a lot of fun, Goj. I'm happy to be here.
I love the sneak peek. Let's go ahead and look at the format today, folks. We've got a lot to talk about, and the format is a very unique one. It is Warfare 32v32. We've got creators on both sides. We're going to be starting with the brand new map, Trainwreck. Now, in Trainwreck, we have 2 different rewards that people can earn. One is the Unstoppable Force. This is the squad with the highest total score in Game 1 on Trainwreck wins $2,000 cash. Now, the winning side, if they're on the winning side, they get a 10% overall buff to their scores. So we're going to see a little bit differential there, but winning is important and getting the most score is important. If you are a part of the Fierce Frontline, that's going to be any players that over 100 kills get to split that $2,000 prize pool as well. And then, of course, we're going to go to Game 2, where we go to Ascension. We're going to be playing a tried and true map that we've had since the beginning. And all players are going to earn a $100 Steam gift card if they're able to bring down the tower. And then finally, we're going to end on another brand new map, Knife Edge, where the top player on each side will be named the Blade Runner, where they will receive a $500 Steam gift card. So in conclusion, I did a little bit of a summary. Let's take a look at our overall pricing. 4 total prizes you can earn today in 3 games. $4,000 exchanging hands in our very first game of the day on Trainwreck. And then we got some extra rewards for Game 2 and Game 3, as you can see. But Taylor, like you mentioned, 4 of our featured teams we've got to talk about. Let's bring up some of those featured teams and break down who's playing today. We've got some fun names.
Oh, we have some fun names indeed. First, let's start with Locklear. You've been watching him throughout all the Delta Force tournaments. He's been putting out some great content. This guy knows Delta Force, and in my opinion, is going to be one of the most dominant players today, guiding his team to victory, of course, alongside that of Mixwell. Now, of course, he's going to have his own squad. Now, a little bit about Locklear. Winner of the Warfare Regional Face-Off with Gotaga. Like, just starting there, you understand the seriousness of what Locklear is going to be bringing today. Representing France, he was the most, or at least alongside Gotaga, the most dominant team. They went undefeated. They were beating teams before we could even have a chance to observe them. It was that quickly. I believe even beating them by, second objective, which, of course, was on trench lines at that point in time. But considers himself to be the best sniper in Delta Force. Look, that's at least a title he had on one of his YouTube videos. Sure. I don't know if that's going to be true. There's a lot of players out there that would consider themselves to be the best. Goju would obviously be one of them. You've been streaming a ton of Delta Force, but we'll see how well he's going to do today. But then we go over to, let's just go down the list to Mixwell. And the reason why is because obviously he'll be playing on the same side as Locklear. Mixwell coming from Spain. Talented player. We're talking about a storied esports competitor across multiple esports. He's played on some of the greatest orgs such as Optic, Heretics. He's been that guy for a long time, and today he's looking to be that guy once again. The fact that you have Locklear and Mixwell on the same team is, in my opinion, just one-sided. I mean, these two are incredible. Mixwell, great to see him. I've been watching him throughout almost the entirety of his esports career. It's going to be exciting to watch him today. Playing a little bit of Delta Force. I don't know his experience per se when it comes to Delta Force. I do know he's dabbled in it a little bit here and there, but I think he's going to adjust quite well. I've seen a little bit of his gameplay. Solid player. Now we move over to the two Germans. We've got Trilox as well as Dalukar, both representing Germany today, but also representing the same team. Trilox, great competitor and very unique. He's done a little bit of everything throughout his esports career and just content creation, whether it be commentary, playing in various esports. He's a serious competitor, much like that of Mixwell is. I expect him to be maybe even one of our biggest wild cards today. He's not played a lot of Delta Force, at least from what I can see, but he's definitely a talented player who knows his shooters, and I believe he's going to be a straight shooter today. And with a lot of those Steam, cards up for grabs, $100, a lot of prizes, I'm expecting him to be quite serious. And of course, we talk about Dalukar to round out Germany, as well as round out that team alongside that of Trilox. I expect Dalukar to be great. I've been watching him for the longest time, and we're going back years and years and years. And the fun thing about him is he's got some series on YouTube that literally span sometimes hundreds of videos, if not thousands, just in the same series. I'm talking about Triple T, one of his most popular series on a different title. But excited to see how well they're going to play today. Those are your four creators. Let us know in chat who you are most favorite, or at least who's your most favorite creator to be watching today. Goj, what else do we got going on today?
Wow. Taylor, that was a beautiful breakdown, man. Thank you for that. I love all four of these players, and like you said, we've had a chance to cast over them a couple times. We're about to jump into the very first map of the day, so I'd love to take a look at our brand new map with the season Starfall, a Trainwreck. This very cool map. We got a little fly through we're going to show. Trainwreck is a fun map for several reasons. We got a chance to talk to the devs about this map, and I'm excited for you all to see it. If you haven't tried it, definitely jump in. But as you can see, there's a lot of wide open spaces. This is what I like to call a vehicle priority map. You've got to prioritize your vehicle gameplay in this one. Sure, there are some interior spaces. There are some places to get, out of those long sight lines, but vehicles are going to be highly important in order to succeed on a map of this scale and scope. So I'm pumped about this one, and we get to start there, and we've got two different rewards here. So these players are going to be playing for a lot right now. The main things, of course, as a reminder, in map 1 on Trainwreck, there's a total of $4,000 up for grabs. One, if you're a part of the Fierce Frontline, all players that get over 100 kills are going to share a $2,000 prize pool, which means if there's 4 players that get over 100 kills, looking at $500 a piece. But if it's just one, they're walking away with $2,000. So there's going to be some fun strategy there we can talk about. And then, of course, the Unstoppable Force. That's going to be the squad today in this first game only that as a squad gets the highest total score in this map. And as a reminder, if you're on the winning side, you get a 10% bonus to your score. So those are the main things we're going for, which means Taylor, as we're about to jump into the game, we're going to be playing for score and kills, which means both sides want this to go as long as possible. We saw this in the regional face-off. I think we're going to go to the final point because even if defense is winning early, they're going to allow attack to take some of these points to extend the game longer so that everybody still has a chance to try to earn some of that cash, especially if you're not a squad that's at the top near the early game, if you will.
Yeah, that's interesting because you're right. We did see that in the regional face-off where a team actually pulled back on purpose. They wanted to extend because they wanted a higher score, right, in case it went to a tiebreaker. That's just how that format ended up working. And it was pretty dicey, though. Let's not forget, they nearly lost it, okay? Yeah. It came down to the wire, and I think quite literally 2 guided missiles that ended up saving the day, if I'm not mistaken, on that final point to the final objective. So it is a bit risky to do that, but you're right. You do want to go back and you want to pull back. You want to get that highest score, and let's not forget also, you know, getting the 100 kills as well. You broke it down for 4 people getting 100 kills and how that would all work out. Yeah. What if all 32 got 100 kills? If we're extending.
If that happens, I'm going home. You know what I mean? Like, okay. I'm just logging off. You're gonna finish this out. I can't imagine we're gonna see that many kills on this map, especially with the amount of kind of lives that are given to the attack.
That's right.
But I believe we are jumping into game here in the next just like 30 seconds or so. So we are jumping in very, very quick. Our first look on broadcast at Trainwreck. That's where we're going to be starting. We'll head to Ascension and then Knife Edge after that. But Trainwreck is going to be fun. And I really think what I expect to look out for, what I expect to see is some of our streamers, some of our players, some of our community members that are a part of this broadcast today really focusing on getting vehicles early and then achieving scores so they can call in their own vehicles in order to take and defend these points correctly. It's going to be very difficult to do if you don't go for the vehicles. So let's jump into Trainwreck and see how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be tuning into different streamers and some of our players today, of course, but also we've got an amazing free cam observer team that's going to be using the spectator mode where you get to look over the top. So you'll expect to see a couple different variations of what you see on your screen right now.
Well, we just started. Locklear's already down alongside of his teammate. Luckily, you got medics for a reason. Now, I want to say this, by the way. Medics, so important. I was kind of on the soap opera during the regional face-off. Medics are absolutely huge, and in my opinion, one of the most impactful players or roles on the team, at least when it comes to your squad. And for a number of reasons, your medics not only are going to protect your numbers when you're on the attacking side, which obviously, in this case, Locklear, but also it stops you from giving up your position, right? Because, like you mentioned, vehicles on this map going to be very important. First look at it. A lot of open spaces here. Gosh, if you lose your whole squad, if your medics aren't putting into work and getting your revives, you now once again have to start all the way in the back or try to spawn up on your teammate, but you're losing the position you were desperately trying to gain, which is obviously not where you want to be. But let's talk about Dalucard, right? A wild card in this event. I don't know much about his Delta Force experience, but I'm so excited to watch him today.
Yeah, I know. I love that breakdown. I think there's a lot of interesting metas that we get to talk about with Warfare. Smoke's obviously extremely valuable. We'll listen into some of the players, especially if you're cheering on your favorite streamer and, you know, you are maybe either from or speak German or from or speak, you know, French. Absolutely, we'll do some listen-ins, even though Taylor and I probably won't be able to understand all of it. I know a little bit of French and a little bit of German, so maybe I'll pick up on it.
Do you?
Oh, a little bit. Not too much, but we'll see. But I really like the meta conversation. Here's a quick look over the top. Some of the meta options, if you will, of strategy for the defense is trying to set up a kill box where players or a section of the enemy team can't run a massive flank to break into the point and blow it up quickly. So you kind of set up a perimeter so you know where the players that are trying to attack are coming from.
I love the landscape of this, just this point in general. There are some sharp corners. The ability to peek them is absolutely there. Smoke's, though, critical, and you're seeing a lot of smokes out. Reason why is because of those open spaces you were mentioning at the very beginning. But just the scenery here, the urban landscape is pretty exciting, right? So I should say industrial landscape, really, because I believe I saw a nuclear tower, if I'm not mistaken, during the fly-throughs, which is pretty cool. But here's a tank. Watch out. It's coming in hot.
First tank that we've seen on broadcast and is already being a terror on the map. It looks like it's on the side of Locklear's squad. You can see it in the kill feed there on the top right. It's brutal right now for the attack. Right, it looks like they're, I think, finally able to cap part of the point, and maybe you're going to be able to secure this first one and push us to the new. Again, all of our players are playing for score and kills, and so in theory the defense is going to want this to go a little bit longer if they want to play for some of this prizing. But also you don't want to lose. You want to be on the winning side, so I think it's going to come down to the wire in the end of this one.
Yo, Locklear and his squad are swinging wide, Goj. And I'm curious, because they're still filling it out, right? They don't necessarily know this map either. Maybe they got a sneak peek, but for all we know, this is the first time being on it. And they are swinging super wide, which could be the thorn in the side of the defense, which the defense seems to be cleaning up quite well. Locklear, though, beautiful shots. Again, you know, you look at him and his Delta Force experience. You've been casting over him. I've watched him also several times as well during that regional face-off and throughout his content. I mean, he's such a serious player. If he doesn't get 100+ eliminations here, I gotta be honest, I'm gonna be disappointed, but the first capture has been made, and Locklear's not wasting any time. He's on the move, baby.
Yeah, he was setting up nice support for his team. I think one thing about Locklear that most people know is that he is an operations phenom, and in Warfare, he tends to play a bit more like the operations playstyle. So he's going to be a little bit slower, less like hyper aggro in some of these fights, and he's going to try to play support and going to kind of try to play his life a bit more. Less willing to throw his life away than, you know, in comparison to some of these other players that grind Warfare. But that doesn't mean he's not going to be incredibly valuable on the map, so something else to look out for. But another quick look at our new point as we progress closer and closer to the actual namesake of this map, which is the Trainwreck that is on the map called Trainwreck. That's going to be up here in point B and then into C. You'll see that up on the bridge.
So this hill, like hilly fight, kind of reminds me of point, I believe, C, if I'm not mistaken, or D, at least the third or fourth point when it comes to trench lines, where you're trying to get up that hill, right? And vehicles were so important, at least on trench lines there. Here it seems you have a bit more maneuverability, although vehicles are definitely everywhere. But that's kind of what it reminds me of. It's such a sharp incline, and once you apex that hill, you've got the defense ready to gun you down.
Yeah, and this is where, you know, smokes are going to be incredibly valuable. If we've got some stinger operator choices here, this is going to be huge to be able to provide your team a bit of visual cover, make a push for the point. But the squad on your screen right now is defending the point and defending it quite well. This is what I was talking about, of trying to protect your flanks and protect these big pushes. We saw it often in the regional face-off and other Warfare events. You'll see teams run like 15 people on a flank in order to break through the point and clean up the backside and allow their main front line to go through. The team that wins usually in Warfare is the team that is most coordinated. So things like team respawn beacons is going to be incredibly important. Individual respawn beacons, of course, for your squad is great, but if you can get up enough points to get the team respawn beacon, that's going to be huge value add for your squad. And there's a great use of smoke. Unfortunately, gets caught out from another player, but this is a great wrap from this squad. We'll see if it pays off for him.
I've seen a lot of Locklear. Now it's time to watch Mixwell, still on the same team overall, same 32 team as Locklear, but obviously on a different squad. We're on the train tracks, and Mixwell is moving and grooving. Great targeting, good centering. This is what I expect from Mixwell. Again, he comes from a storied competitive esports past. He knows how to compete with the best out there, and he's doing the exact same thing here on the same level of Locklear when it comes to his Delta Force experience. He's going to be wonderful, and even getting in the reses. You like to see that. Mixwell. Great stuff. And also, I do want to point out, by the way, one of the POVs we kept switching on to was Hackers. And Hackers is another storied competitive player in various different esports. And at one point was even on the French national team for another competitive title. So he's a serious competitor playing for France. Can't wait to see more of him on our screen. But in the meantime, Locklear back at it once again, almost in the same area as Mixwell, but I believe a little bit forward.
Yeah, they're both kind of working this bridge Trainwreck area, which I can appreciate. Some long-range fights here, though. You know, some of these ARs are a little bit better than others at long range. Luckily, his team is more than willing to pick him up a ton, and this is great team play overall. But right now, they got to figure out how do we get to the point and how do we capture this point while the enemy is scrambling to defend.
That elevation goes. That elevation is unique. You're relatively exposed if you peek over that train track, but I mean, you've got just a great line of sight. Obviously, not the people just down below you as we're seeing, but loving the battle, loving this view. This is what I want to see. All right, which is called Absolute Chaos, and this is Absolute Chaos.
I'm telling you, this vehicle gameplay is everything. And when you're able to pick up a tank where you have the customized, one of my favorite things about Warfare is you can customize your vehicles, basically create a vehicle loadout. So if you do have a weaponry on it that is anti-infantry, you can clean up your opponents with this anti-infantry gun. I mean, this Gatling gun is so valuable for picking up infantry, while the main tank can still take shots at other vehicles as they see them. That was I got excited as well, Taylor. That was fun to see, and now it's just raining terror. Definitely living up to the namesake of what the title of this event is.
This is Joner on your screen from Barcelona, another Spanish creator out here, rocking it in the vehicles. I expect him to be pretty impactful, not only throughout this game, but also throughout the two that's going to be coming up. But now we transition onto a fresh squad we haven't seen too much of, at least for Meesgod. We did see him earlier and actually back on your screen just now from a distance, slowly trying to make their way up. It seems like this squad is better worse for wear as they start collapsing, unfortunately. But good news is we're still going on C1 and C2. Bad news is for the defensive squad, it seems like it might be getting captured.
Yeah, Attack is doing a pretty good job. Reminder, we're going to be paying attention to the top middle of our screen and how many lives are left on the Attack. 317 means we've got pretty good pacing right now in order to capture each of these points. 400, I believe, is max, and so you're only down 80 or so going into point C. Things seem to be working out pretty well. And you can take a quick look at that leaderboard, by the way. We're already seeing players on high 20s, low 30s in overall kills. Pay attention to if anybody gets to triple digits, 100 kills, that's where you're going to start seeing some of the rewards come through. As this vehicle, was raining terror, players trying to sprint at it and maybe plant C4s, drop nades, or anything in between. And I loved watching the free cam POV of the driver hopping out, using Byron's ability to dash and then win the gunfight and then theoretically get back in his vehicle. Talk about a multifaceted asset right there.
So how would you go about this? C1, C2, just attack one site full send? I mean, that obviously worked during the regional face-off that we witnessed, but then, of course, you have to leave a couple members there to defend it because, the defense then is going to transition a lot of their players over to once again recapture it. So it's kind of a give and take on C1 and C2, and both of them are kind of being played around with, but a lot of attention on C2 for the attacking side.
Yeah, this is point C usually has 2 points, C1, C2 on most maps, and I usually call this the tug of war because you're 100% right. As you see the attack potentially taking C2, usually they're going to try to go for C1 right after, and the defense is going to swing back to retake C2. So it's going to be a tug of war back and forth, but holy cow, we are seeing a kill spree on main finally get spoiled by a G18. That auto pistol incredibly valuable, but player was going wild.
Moin Manfred, was geht?
That's what we want to see, baby. Go wild. Trillock's on your screen. Actually, I think first time we've really tuned into him, unfortunately, as he is forced to respawn. That's okay. Hopefully we'll stay with him for just a little bit longer and really see what he's made out of. His squad's going through a little bit of a tough time, but C2, again, still in their line of sights. They want to get up there and obviously defend. In the meantime, though, Trillock's, again, wild card. I don't know what to expect from him, and he is just going through the blender, unfortunately. Sometimes that's just how it goes.
Yeah, unfortunately here in Warfare, this is going to be probably some of the toughest points to capture, just because A, there's two, but B, you're basically pushing from the exterior with little to no cover into the interior where there is cover. And as simple as that sounds, it actually makes quite a bit of difference on how difficult some of these points are to capture or defend. And as the attack is trying to figure out how to get into these buildings, the defense is able to just set up inside the buildings on cover and pick people off as they come in. So Trillock is definitely going to try to set up with his squad in order to have some success. But the attack is aggressively pushing through each of these points. And as they capture both of the C points and we move to D, again, pay attention. 347 lives going into points D1 and D2. Our attack is dominating this competition right now.
And honestly, it's not a surprise. It's really not. You go back to the conversation about Locklear playing with Gotaga, winning with French, the French team, the French side, right, from the regional face-off. I mean, they were so dominant. This is kind of literally the same pacing they had during the trench lines warfare that we were watching just several weeks back. And we're seeing it once again. They just have it locked in. And then you put in, of course, Mixwell in there in the mix. I mean, they're just, they're great. You mentioned extending this game to kind of reach that 100 points, get the highest score. I mean, I don't even know if the attacking side is going to allow this to be extended. They're going to have to pump the brakes or else we're going to be finished very shortly.
That's a good shout. I'll be curious to see if anybody's able to pick up over 100 kills. I think some of our vehicle players likely are, but let's quickly listen into Locklear and his squad as they're trying to figure out what they do from here.
Ouais, je me fais shot d'en face aussi.
Oh, on fait le fond, derrière vous, derrière vous.
Vu, il y en a un mort. Je suis allongé là.
Je me fais shot du pont, moi.
Oui, mais ils veulent pas défendre, c'est débile.
Je suis le mec sur le pont. Je suis avec toi, Locke.
Combien de balles? Combien de
Faire une
balles?
percée. Viens spawn par là, je pense, non? Oh, mais je l'ai pas encore.
Ça y est, c'est déjà fini, putain.
Ah, ils ont tout rush.
Là, en face, c'est des doubles là encore, c'est toujours la même histoire, putain. Défends ton
Il y a
point.
et tout.
Mais frérot, il y a 313 tickets, c'est une honte, genre. Putain, défends ton point là.
Well, as you can tell, Taylor, they are flying and frying and have a good time doing it. I mean, look at this. They're able to take D2 almost completely already, finally starting to lose some of it. But Locklear and his squad are moving as a unit, which has been a huge boon for them to preserve some of their lives and have numbers advantage going into some of these far flanking fights. So well done from that squad. As we take a look at the other side, this is the defense. They're seemingly taking back D1 and D2, able to hold on for now.
And this is the kind of gameplay that I'm all about, right? Dalucard sitting in a corner, great angles. Look, not risking his life. This game is all about angles at times. Dalucard, he's got it. Even if he can't see the opponents, he's going to fire some shots downrange and see if he can get some connections. But they do have to get serious here. I mean, they really, really do, because the attacking side has been flying and frying, as you just mentioned, brother, and it's not looking too good for our other side. Or at least our defensive side. A lot of red into the mix. I see Hackers in there. Obviously, Mixwell's going to be in there. Locklear most likely is going to be onto a flanking position, trying to get those off angles. Defense once again collapsing in, and I believe D1 now has been captured, and D2 is going to be up for grabs as the attacking side are now on the sprint.
Yeah, it's a great grab, and finally the defense answers back. Does look like some of our players have been holding the line, as it were, but you're right, it all comes down to D2 as these wide open spaces are proving a bit more difficult to address. D2 compared to D1. You saw the big train wreck here as well. This is kind of the main train wreck at the end of the map. A crashed bridge, a broken train. Trying to play around. Great shots though here from Trilix.
Nein, Amina, da hatte ich.
Shots indeed. No surprise there.
Leg dich mal irgendwo hin.
And by the way, Chad, I do see you guys out there. They're enjoying the chaos as much as we are. Goes, you know, they love it, right? This all one viewer saying, you know, this all-out war game mode is wild. It absolutely is, and that's what I like about it. It's chaotic, keeps you in the mix, it keeps you active, but also these games can be relatively long. You know, 20, 30 minutes, okay? So it keeps you active, it keeps you involved, and it's just fun. And you never know when a tank is going to come through the smoke and run you over. That's kind of the most exciting thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you can tell some of these players, we've got a wide array of new players to storied players in the scene from the beginning of the launch. But take a look at the top of our leaderboard. It's not looking like we're going to see anybody breach 100 kills. Top player on, I believe, the attacking side is somewhere around 45 kills. On the defense side, they're around 40 kills. I can't imagine they're able to stall out D1 and D2 long enough for somebody to get over 100. But hey, you never know. Could be difficult or maybe purposeful here from Locklear and Co. to not take these points and try to play for some of the rewards.
You're right about that. That's the only way. The attacking side has to hang outside the points without getting into them to go for the capture and just farm eliminations. That brings its own risk. Again, you go back to the regional face-off where a team was doing that, and watch out. Artillery barrage is in, and players are dropping left and right on the right-hand side. The attacking side now being backed up just a little bit, and meanwhile, you got a totally different picture. We're on an ATV. We're cruising. Wind in his hair. He's feeling good.
Artillery strikes into a guided missile. This is what the end game of warfare looks like. It's absolute chaos because, frankly, people start calling in some of those support systems, able to use some of the points they've earned throughout the game to be able to call in backup, and it pays off. I think it was a Rizzo there in the kill feed, if I'm saying that correctly, was the one that was able to pick up like a 6 kill guided missile there after the artillery barrage was able to pick up several as well. So holding these points quite nicely, but finally, it looks like D1 is going to be exchanging hands.
Joiner would just switch off his screen to watch onto Locklear. Hopefully be getting back onto his feet. He's a bit exposed, so the medics need to smoke out and they'll get him back up. Hopefully, I don't know, players are dropping, trying to get him back up. Sometimes that's how it goes. The other team will kind of bait you out. But yeah, Joiner, who was just on your screen, he's got a lot of experience when it comes to open map battles like this in various games, now transitioning over towards Delta Force, and just watching his gameplay, you can kind of see remnants of his experience there. But D1 has been captured. D2 now starting to be messed around with, but this is the first time I've seen the defensive side truly hold on to what they got. And I think this is the lowest as well, 147 points, or tickets, I should say. This is the lowest I've seen the attacking side get.
Oh, I totally agree. And here's a quick look again. Yeah, 54 the top kills in this one. We're still giving away $2,000 to the top squad in this one, so there's definitely going to be some rewards changing hands. Big question is maybe if one of those players that is near the top of the leaderboard just starts popping off. Frankly, you're going to need a big artillery strike, a big guided missile, maybe grab a vehicle here for the final fight. There's another guided missile striking behind Locklear as it looks like the attack has easily taken D2 and are now going to take a look here at D1 in just a moment as the defense says, well, hold on, let's take back D2 real quick. We shouldn't have any issues with this. We've got this. And Locklear is going to try to play spoiler.
Ils arrivent d'où là?
Je sais pas, je capte bien.
Ah, je sais pas, moi je regarde.
Je suis avec vous pour caper.
Well, obviously, I would have to default to you, Goj, what was said there, because, you know, apparently you do speak French occasionally. Speaking of which, still blows my mind, because I've never heard you speak any other language other than broken English, but still great stuff. Look, I love you to death, I really do. Oh, it's getting bad, it really is, for the attacking side, and for the first time, I'm starting to worry if they can actually get this job done, because the defense have really stepped it up, and maybe because it's the first time we're seeing this map, right, here on Trainwreck, like, maybe D1 and D2 is the final boss, that split push. Maybe this is where the defense truly has their best chances. Meanwhile, you want to try and get as many tickets as possible, maybe even going in with a full 400 into D1 and D2, because this one seems like an absolute beast to overcome.
Yeah, you can see a couple of vehicles definitely coming into play here towards the end of this one. But again, quick glances at those leaderboards, I'm seeing 59. Oh, a nice guided missile from the player on our screen right now. Look at that score tally just rack up with a single missile. I love that we got a chance to see that from his perspective, just to watch that number go burr like a receipt. That was crazy. Off screen, the missile was able to strike down several, and on screen, some great gunplay. It looks like this player has a pretty good idea of what the heck they're doing.
All right, so 99 tickets. I saw 96 just a second ago. Chad, I default to you, the collective mind. Can the attacking side get it done? Can Locklear and Trilox, representing Germany and France, get it done? I don't know. Are they extending it like Goj was saying, trying to reach 100? Rizzo is the closest one with 62 eliminations. That is, though, that's a far stretch. We're talking about this final point. I gotta say, this is getting a little bit dicey as far as I'm concerned. Locklear Mixwell, can they get it done? Can the attacking side win this? Will the score be high enough for them to take the victory, or will all of a sudden, right, Dalucard be able to, or Dalucard, excuse me, and Trilix be able to get the job done representing Germany? And I mentioned they need a win, because Germany during the original face-off, they got absolutely smacked. That region right now needs a W.
Well, it's certainly possible. Here we go. A big push. You can see D1 and D2 from Mixwell's perspective, both technically in green, but not full captured. Mixwell able to spawn around and near this vehicle. It's going to be a huge boon to be able to secure D2, but they're going to have to swing aggressively on D1 and do it quickly. Look at those lives, 54 and counting. And sure, they're doing a great job of picking each other up, but it's not good enough. Now, we got several guided missiles, artillery strikes that have already been called, and it looks like maybe some of our other players have a couple more as well to use for the final hour here. D2 has been captured. D1 off screen being capped. Here it is. D2 fully captured right now, but it is not safe. Look how many red bodies are on your screen right now. This could be the defense trying to break through. As this is happening, though, and failing, the defense is losing D1. Another massive guided missile, and D1 gets captured. The attackers are your winners. It looks like Locklear and our friend Mixwell finally able to do it there at the end. And maybe they were biding their time. Maybe they were trying to extend that one out as long as possible. They did a pretty good job. Maybe started sweating towards the end and finally were able to grab both there at the end of Trainwreck.
I don't think anybody reached 100 eliminations, though. Apparently, I thought we were easily going to reach that. You mentioned 4. I was like, okay, I think we'll reach it. But no, we ultimately didn't. And that is a tough break, to say the least. But good job for Locklear as well as Mixwell. Big battle. And kind of playing into what Locklear and Gotaga did during the regional face-off. Just going through those points quickly, succinctly, dominating left and right. If I were them and I would have to redo it and still get the W, I would definitely take my time on the earlier points and try to get, at least somebody up there to the 100 eliminations. But no doubt about it, Locklear, Mixwell, the most dominant duo, at least dominant team so far.
Yeah, I'm really excited to look back on that one in some replays. I think we've got some replays for us in just a moment because there were some really fun points. I totally agree. I think strategy-wise with the rewards that were on the table, maybe they took the first couple points too fast, but I don't know. I think they likely will be some of the top teams in this one. And a reminder, the top squad is going to receive $2,000 cash. So we're going to get that calculated as fast as possible. We'll take a little bit, but excited to see some of these replays. So let's take a look back on that map and see some of the best plays from this last one, because there were some fun points. Vehicle gameplay obviously came into play. As per usual, guided missiles, artillery strikes, all of the support systems, all the backup you can call, all of the air support, also valuable. But you can see this player on your screen just raining terror on his opponents, able to clear out this point and force the next one.
Yeah, and we started all too with Mixwell, by the way, going on an absolute tear. I don't know how many eliminations he got in a row, but he went on a terror. At least 15, getting on 20. But man, I love that artillery barrage. You mentioned obviously the missile coming in too, just taking down the attacking side when they needed most. That was almost a great moment, but then the defense fell in the end. But I just love the variety and the chaos that ensues in these warfare maps. And Trainwreck's, by the way, great watching it for the first time. It played very, very well. I love the points, but make no mistake, D1 and D2 at the very end, that's where the defense has the true chance of winning. So you're never out until it is completely done for.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a good example of what vehicle gameplay can look like, how you can use that to your advantage, while also some of our infantry just putting really good routes to be able to pick up some of these points very quickly. Whether that was good or bad strategy based on the rewards doesn't matter. They wanted to win. That's what they care about. And so because of that, some of the routes they were able to take to force these hard points to defend, it worked out perfectly. And they were able to take A, B, and C very, very quickly, obviously either purposefully or just were thwarted on D until the very end. But still, congratulations to our attacking squad. That's Locklear and Mixwell and all of the other streamers and community members underneath their team. They're going to be the team that wins the first round. Now, going into the second round, Taylor, all of our players are being prepared for what will be a very interesting map. We are headed to Ascension. This is a map that's been in the game since the beginning, since the alpha. This is a map that everybody's going to know. If you've played Warfare, you've probably played this map. It has one of the most cinematic starts to any of these Warfare maps. Everybody comes flying in on boats. I guess by flying in, I mean driving in on these boats. The attack does, as the defense is able to hold. And I'm excited to see what they do in Ascension, because one of the main goals with Ascension, aside from just winning the game, is that both teams are going to want to bring down the final tower on this map, which means we need to get to the final tower. And to bring that tower down, yes, we've got destructible terrain. You need 3 guided missiles dropped on that tower, and the entire thing will fall. If anybody's able to do that, if the tower falls at all, every single player in this lobby will receive a $100 Steam gift card. So we've got our priorities straight. We got to bring down the tower. But to do that, you've got to get the points to be able to call in the guided missile. So it's absolutely still going to be a bloodbath, Taylor.
Ooh, okay, so they can work together in a way, anyways, to earn 100. So we missed out on that, so or at least we missed out on the bonus money because of the 100 eliminations not being met. But I like that we do have this common objective, and I'm sure they're all going to be tracking that because it is Ascension. And it is an OG map when it comes to at least this iteration of Delta Force. How are we thinking Trillox as well as Dalucard's going to do? Because again, like their Delta Force competitiveness, I don't know. Trillox I think has kind of dabbled a bit here and there when it comes to Delta Force. Dalucard, I don't know if he's touched it at least up until this point. So Ascension, it may be an OG map, but I think that's going to give even more of an advantage to Locklear and Mixwell, who already dominated on the attacking side. But now they're going into a map that they've been playing since the very beginning, Goj.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty interesting point. I think one of the things we learn in these events always is that we learn a lot during these events, and one of the main things we're learning is which operator should we use, what weapon should we use. And so you're seeing some of our players, maybe our community members or some of our other streamers. I know I want to shout out in particular Tyson, who I've had a chance to talk to. He's got some fans in the chat as well. A student of the game, knows a lot about this game, always asking really good questions in our dev interviews. Tyson and others were using some of our quote-unquote more meta weapons, at least right now. The meta constantly changing with Delta Force. There's a lot of new updates with new guns coming out, which always brings in new meta. But in Warfare, there are some weapons that are, well, better than others in certain circumstances. And so you're seeing players like Tyson, seeing some of our community members that are using the Scar, the Vector, SMG 45, like some of those weapons that really tear up the battlefield, as opposed to kind of some of the default loadouts that some of the operators originally give you before you're able to build your own. So the other thing I noticed in that game, there were way less Stinger operators than I was expecting. The smoke is an incredibly valuable part of this Warfare mode. So I'm excited to see if maybe people start tweaking some of their operator choices. But Taylor, we had a chance to watch the first map. Let's take a look at some of the standings from the first map and see some of the top players from each side. I'm excited to see this because here's our top 10 players from each side. Our Vipers, that's our attacking side. That's going to be on the side of Locklear and Mixwell. Our top player was Conks, I believe is how you say that, with Preep Walker actually getting the most eliminations at 54. Whereas, interestingly enough, look at our losing side, our defense. Arizo is the one that was dropping those crazy guided missiles and picking up crazy multi-kills, actually drops the most kills in this lobby of 66.
So Arizo is an interesting player, for example. Arizo has been a competitive player in another title, now transitioning over towards Delta Force. He knows big games, big game maps, I should say. So he's used to the chaos and used to kind of maneuvering the battlefield in such a way Delta Force requires, at least when it comes to Warfare. So 66, not a surprise there. Doing a wonderful job. And fun fact, I believe he was also a part of the Belgian military at one point. So he's got the real life experience mixed in with the in-game experience, which is pretty special. So shout out to a Rizzo service member, but also a wonderful competitive player who gets to 66. The question is, again, how high could they have continued to go if, of course, the winning side didn't finish the game as quickly as they ultimately did? But either way, good stuff coming out from these players. 66 is still a very, very high number, especially with how quick that game ended up going. So yeah, Rizzo, somebody I want to continue to watch and maybe hopefully get his gameplay. I don't know if he's streaming at the moment, but who knows? Maybe we'll see a member of his squad and at least get to see him from a third-person perspective.
Yeah, I think we briefly had him up on broadcast in that last one when he was able to get the guided missile on board. So definitely keep an eye out for Arizo there on the defense, who is now going to be attacking, by the way. We are going to be swapping sides, and so you're going to see that Dalucard and Trilix team going to be attacking instead of defending this time. We'll see if maybe that betters their luck. Who knows? But on the other side, Locklear and Mixwell preparing for what's next. Big shout out again, Tyson, a player I had just shouted out about using some of the best weapons in the game and knowing this game really well, making great content around the game. Top 3 was 3rd overall on their side. So as mentioned, absolutely knows what they're doing in the Warfare game mode. I'm excited to see what they can do in Ascension. Folks, we're going to be hopping into this second game as fast as possible, and I think it's actually pretty soon. So as we're preparing for this one, Taylor, let's talk a little bit about some of the strategy. We've talked, a lot about like kind of some of the meta stuff, some of the weapons, some of the operators, all of that good things. But for this one, again, you're playing for very specific rewards. You are looking to crash this tower. So in terms of strategy, everyone receiving this reward, I think we are going to see these teams work together a little bit, but the big key to success is you've got to earn enough points in order to call in those guided missiles. They're quite expensive. Like, you've got to get a lot of kills in order to be able to call in a guided missile. So it's going to be a bloodbath early in order that the teams can then call the guided missiles to drop that tower in the late game.
Well, let's develop this conversation a bit more. So let's talk about it, right? Because we do switch sides. Now you've got Trillox, you've got Dalucard on the attacking side, and then you think about how well Locklear and Mixwell were able to attack. Now, they're not attacking this time, but make no mistake about it, they're still going to have that slaying power. They're still going to be able to outslay, in my opinion, that of Trillox as well as Dalucard. So they're going to be able to hold them at points. So remind me, Goj, obviously you can destroy that tower. What do you need to do to destroy the tower? And also, how many points do we have to go through before that's even an option?
So the tower is the last point, and it is 3 guided missiles. Okay, so 3 from either team, by the way. It can be the attacking squad dropping 3 guided missile, or it could be the defense dropping 3 guided missiles, or it could be a mixture of both. 3 guided missiles need to hit the tower in order to drop it. And so I'm excited to see this one. But again, they've got to earn the points to get there. Folks, look, if you're enjoying this broadcast, I got to say, you got to try out this game mode. Warfare is a ton of fun, and absolutely try out Operations as well. All of the content creators that are playing today have a ton of great content out there. Locklear in particular, I've seen put up a lot of content around the Operations game mode. So definitely go check out both of our game modes. And also, to do that, you got to download the game. So I want to remind you again, go download Delta Force. You can do that at the website down below, but also on the Epic Game Store and in Steam, where a lot of our players are playing currently. Just a really fun game, and it's free to play. But the other thing I talked about at the top of broadcast, we pulled in community members for part of the lobby here. So you're seeing some of the community members really pop off on broadcast, even if they're not streamers, and that could have been you. All you have to do is join the Discord. So follow us on all major socials, but also hop into the Discord. We've got events all the time, whether that's broadcast events like this or just community events that you can get involved in. So you definitely got to jump into that Discord. And if you do, and you connect your account to your official Delta Force account, you're going to earn 100 Delta tickets for your account, which if you haven't played enough Delta Force yet to earn Delta tickets, you're going to be able to use these to pick up rewards like cosmetics and a lot of other things. So you definitely want to get these rewards by just simply attaching your Discord to your Delta Force account, and then make sure you join that official Discord as well. So fun things to remind people at home, because I saw some questions being asked of how do I get involved in these events? How do I play in events? And Discord is definitely the way to do so. But Taylor, you talked about it too. Of course, we've got, subreddits with information. We got fandoms with how to play the game.
All over the place.
Instructional guides. We've got thousands of content creators. The Delta Force ecosystem definitely runs deep. So a lot of different social medias to check out, and a ton of Delta Force content.
Yeah, and it's growing. The beautiful thing about Delta Force is the developer behind it is actively listening to the community, actively, reviewing stats and updating the game in a way that they need to, which is going to make this game thrive. The community is already thriving. You mentioned that Discord, which is growing exponentially. I love, by the way, that we brought in community members to play in this event. There's not a lot of scenes that do that, by the way, because normally it's based off of you as an influencer, which, that does have its place here in this tournament as well. But the fact that you can just be a community member, put in that you're interested in playing and get picked up and compete with arguably some of the best Delta Force players out there in the world, and have a chance to really not only play alongside some of these wonderful creators, but also a chance to kind of prove yourself on a big stage, and hopefully, if you are a community member and you're competing, you're streaming, right? So you can continue to bolster your brand. But loving what I'm seeing so far, Goes, really, honestly, it's such a fun game. Love being a part of it. And from what I'm hearing, Goes, the game's about to start, baby. So I'm putting a lot of pressure on Trillox and Dalucard. They're the ones that need to step it up this time, especially on the attacking side.
Yeah, we gotta get to the part where you can drop the tower. So the attack needs to pressure, all right? We're gonna be hopping into this game as soon as possible. It's Ascension. This is a map you're gonna recognize. We're kind of bordered. We're playing 3 maps in total today, and we're bordering this tried and true Ascension map. You can take a quick look at our format here with our 2 brand new maps with Season Starfall. So again, we're going to Game 2 Ascension. We did miss out on our Fierce front line, but our Unstoppable Force winner, we are making sure, double checking all of our maps, and we will share that as soon as we have who the best squad was. We had a chance to see our top 10 players on each side, but in the second game, again, they're going to crash this tower, which is our last point on this map. So the attack needs to get to the last point in order to secure this reward for every player. And then we're headed in to Knife Edge, the other brand new map with Season Starfall. We're going to be paying attention to the top individual on each squad. So tons of rewards today in 3 different maps, and I'm excited about all of these. But it is really good that we're going back to Ascension, because this has got to be one of my favorites. So let's take a look at it. Game 2 is here. We are ready to rock and roll. Let's hop in and see what the attack can do.
All right, baby, let's do it and see what the attack can do. And that's the big one, because defense now, they've got a decision to make, I think, more so than game number 1, where you were kind of bringing up the fact of them kind of, hanging back, getting a better score. Now it behooves them to kind of play a little bit easier on the attacking side. Let them get some defenses and not try to end it early, because everybody gets rich, baby. Everybody gets $100 in that Steam card if, of course, we get all the way down to that tower destroyed. So let's hop into game. Let's get it going. Map number 2, we're heading into Ascension, and it's going to be the same creators you know and love. We're starting off with Dalucard. We're on the boat. We're going to the mainland, and the sniper is out. The first time I've seen Dalucard rock a sniper. He says, enough getting up in the faces, locking down a lane. I want to stay back. And I guess for Dalucard, I hope that works out a little bit better than the last game.
I love this map. Being able to like storm the beaches like this, bring in the ships for the attackers, get into the onslaught of the defense who's already set up on these points. Just a fun way to start this map. This is definitely a map where if you're a big fan of sniping, this is going to be a fun one for you. There's a part of this map, kind of in the middle, that you're going to have a little bit of trouble in some of the interiors, but the lead up before you zip up to the next section of this map, it is a great time to snipe, and then the end you can also get a little bit of sniping in as well. So I know a lot of us out there are huge fans of sniping and warfare mode. I'm definitely in that category, so I'm right there with Dalucard. But here's Trainwreck trying to kind of play a flank on some high ground here to push the attack, and able to pick up a couple teammates in transition. Now, Trainwreck is playing Stinger, so you're seeing a lot more smoke, a lot more visual cover to play around with, and a lot of revives.
Yeah, and I think that's smart, because if I were him, right, Stinger, maybe play a little bit passive and make sure you're getting the reses, and let your more experienced players maybe push forward. Not saying Trillox is not, any less experienced than the other competitors on the battlefield, but definitely Stinger, incredibly valuable, which you mentioned earlier, at least in map 1 when it came to Trainwreck, we didn't see that many Stingers, so hopefully we'll see a bit more here as the players get their feet underneath them. But now onto the defensive side here with Mixwell, holding back the attacking side on this hilltop. Again, so many maps have this kind of terrain in certain points. This one happens to be off the rip, where you're trying to traverse this massive hilltop. And it is nerve-wracking. You've got different rocks, you've got different bushes, but more importantly, you apex that hill. You never know how many people are going to be looking at you. It could quite literally be 10, 15, defenders or even attackers ready to gun you down. So this is definitely one of those points, right off the start. You're coming in from the water onto the mainland, traversing the hill that, in my opinion, get your hearts pumping.
I totally agree. Let's listen in a little bit here with Mixwell. They've kind of got this apex like you're talking about, trying to hold it, reviving each other, but a flank coming through.
Help me!
Ah, y hay uno de vida aquí.
Tienes aquí. Me han pillado.
Rompieron baliza. Ganaron las montañas ellos. Se vuelve muy difícil de...
Sí, montaña está complicado.
Well, Taylor, it looks like tank playing spoiler yet again. I didn't mention it as much in this map, but vehicle gameplay extremely valuable, especially in the early game with these wide open spaces. That tank came in and got like 6-7 kills in a matter of 10 seconds.
Oh, ich hab
Which is, it's a tank, right? You would expect it to get that many if you have a competent driver. And speaking of which, there it is, just hurling missiles left and right, raining down hellfire on anyone that's up ahead. Elzen is going to be the destructor, right, on the battlefield. And look, I'm all here for it. I really am. And already a capture. Let me say this, and I will give all respect now to the attacking team who struggled so much on defense, map 1 Trainwrecks. Like, they went through point 1 blistering fast. That gives me hope that we will see that tower crumble at the end of this game.
Yeah, you can see Arizo is the one driving this vehicle. And so we saw Arizo at the top of the leaderboard as well. Absolutely a player to watch. Was the top Slayer on the defense that lost and now on the attack. So see what they're able to do. You can see our first helicopter of the warfare mode is on the map, raining terror as well, picking up some kills. It looks like somebody knows what they're doing in that thing. I'm going to be honest, I'm not great at flying them, but people that are very good at flying the helicopters can get so much value out of them, especially if their opposition doesn't actually make any counter plays against it. You can pick up 10, 20 kills before anybody can kind of blink an eye.
So what's the strat then? You're not good at it, Ghosh. Like, what makes you a bad flyer?
You gotta be good at the mechanics of flying, frankly. And I think that's the key. Like, you have to be good at... when you're driving that thing, it almost feels like you're driving it on ice because that's the way you fly things. And I'm just not good at that.
That's why you fly things.
Well, you have to use the momentum of the helicopter to your advantage. And you need time in. And speaking of time... Locklear knows that the best way to get rid of a helicopter is an AA gun. It's literally built for that. Unfortunately, helicopter knows that too. Locklear goes down.
Locklear is so upset after that too. He's just going for the respawn. I've seen that. Well, I've made that face many times, but I think more often than not because I'm just getting gummed. But that was just an epic. I love spectator mode. Even if we're just watching a streamer's perspective, sometimes it's the most cinematic way to watch this game. It truly is spectacular. We actually had a chance to watch spectator mode during the regional face-off, which was just absolutely brilliant. Watching the overhead view, the players getting involved, it's just great. Locklear, the best sniper in the game, so he says. Don't get mad at me. That's what he says, everybody. Looking to pop some heads. Let's see if he can.
Close. There's one. He's able to pick up an assist, potentially. There's the cleanup. Looking for a couple from distance. Again, I love the sniping on this map, especially in the early game and A and B points. And I think right now, again, our goals are to get to the end. Whether you're the attack or the defense, you want kills, you want points. Nice shot from Locklear. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty big moment, I think, because we're going to need to make sure we pick up enough points where we can call in a guided missile so that we can bring that tower down. We also have to get to the last point. So after this point, our defense is going to have to be pushed up the zip line up to a brand new section of the map. It's one of my favorite features of this map. They have a crazy amount of verticality, and you're receiving a little bit of that verticality here with Mixwell. But after this point, around this kind of industrial yard, you're going to go up the zip line into the caves for a brand new section of the map.
Mixwell doing what Mixwell does. Slaying bodies. He's already gone through 3 or 4. Who knows how many he got before we switched onto his perspective. Getting remnants of when he was on the train tracks just a little bit earlier on Trainwrecks, going on a 15-20 elimination run. Mixwell, such a great player. He will finally fall, but they were making great headway onto B2, and B2 will once again get captured. Obviously, now you've got to focus on to B1. In this case, though, Mixwell is on the defensive side. But again, shout out to Trilux as well as Dollarcart. They are doing a wonderful job with their crew on the attacking side. Night and day compared to where they were before. And yeah, through the smoke, Mixwell just knows. He just knows.
You can tell Mixwell's got some time in, you know what I mean? He's able to play Luna here, obviously use the beacon.
Don't stand still!
Locklear said, thank you very much, that's free. But use the beacon, and then also is able to use the recon arrow through the smoke, picks up where those opponents is to be able to pick them up without even being able to see them. But I love this overhead look for several reasons. One, see the tank off in the distance. It's been raining terror, helping this team capture B1 and now be able to push for B2. But on the opposition, maybe a little bit scared as the tank and our German folks able to push the equation and try to play for B2.
Okay.
Set B2. Easy capture. Looking 28 to Rizzo back on top. Rizzo, the main slayer in the last game, I believe was 66, if I'm not mistaken. Now sitting at 22 at the top. So he's going to be the front runner. We're watching out for map number 3. More on that in just a bit. But definitely our top slayer. Hackers, again, another esports competitive player. At one point was on the French national team. He has done wonders throughout his content creation career, but also his esports competitive career. Just absolutely mowing bodies. Hackers, we've seen him so many different times. And he's a great player. He really is, and it's showcasing his skill just here. But 230, are we getting worried now about the attacking side? They've been kind of battling this B1, B2 for a little bit. We're down to 242 tickets. That's still relatively healthy, Goj, but I mean, that can bleed away very fast.
Yeah, I think we're okay. I think we're doing all right. We're having an average performance as the attack. We're able to push forward. Frankly, the defense has a slight advantage on this map, in my opinion. I think it's a little bit easier to defend some of these points, especially as we get into the caves and such. So this is going to be a tough task for the attackers. You can see Tyson here. This is one of the players we were talking about, was a top 3 player in the last round, able to pick up a tank and get a little tank-on-tank vehicle warfare, just like the name suggests. And we're talking chaos. Well, Tyson's looking for infantry, tanks, and everything in between.
Tyson, just to pull him out. I'm not calling him out. It's in his bio. 38 years old, by the way. He owns the land and he's single, okay? I don't know. He put it in his bio. That's what he said, okay? Hey, I respect it. 38 years old, gaming. Love to see that for the old heads. I'm 33, Ghost. I think you're getting on 37, 38 yourself. Hold on. Let's all right. Let me calm down. I think I'm older than you. 33, but Tyson, good to see him out there. 5,000 victories, by the way, in another title. So he's serious. He really is.
Yeah,
Can't wait to get back on screen. He's a massive gamer, clearly, and pays off because B1 and B2 finally gets captured. We're moving on, and now how do we attack this next objective? Because it looks absolutely daunting.
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite transitions in any Warfare map in Delta Force. It's such a cool moment. Look how far away the next point is. Everybody's going to need to push up the zip line here, up to where all of these players are waiting for them, or they can take the elevator from down below where you saw one of our other players doing that a moment ago. You're actually able to take vehicles up there as well and kind of shoot into the caves, albeit you can't really drive all the way in. So you see a couple players elect to go for the zips, probably going to die, but I love the audacity to think that they're a one-man army. Look at them go. This is such a cool moment of all of our players zipping up and then just getting incinerated by the defense. And here's that elevator I was talking about. A couple vehicles getting ready. Hey, if you got a tank, you better hold on to that thing, right? Let's get up to the new zone, keep the tank, and be ready for this action.
This is very different, this perspective, compared to what we've been seeing. The players just getting mowed down. It's just total. And then you can switch over to Locklear, who's just in the thick of it, just getting res. But I love that he's bringing out that smile, man, because a bit earlier, we saw the heli mowing him down, and he looked absolutely devastated and frustrated, but now he's just enjoying himself. He's having a good time, and that's what Delta Force, right, is all about at the end of the day.
It looks like the attack has made some pretty aggressive moves to be able to push up onto the high ground finally, and that is at the behest of operator abilities, frankly. Lots of grenades, lots of magnetic bombs, a lot of Virons being played, and I'm getting word from production, by the way, that I think our tank friends that came through the elevator immediately got incinerated. Because,
I would have loved to have seen
you know, frankly, everybody knows you're coming, right? We saw your tank down below. They know you're coming. We got some engineers ready. We got some AT4s.
Does the elevator make a ding when you get to the top, too?
Ding! Explosion.
That's actually epic. I wish we could have seen that, but hey, at least we know the result. We know the result. We're pushing through. We're trying to make some moves, and onto a good old tried and true content creator here, Trilux. Moving forward through the smoke. Zombies in the night, baby. Ready to take you down. C1 and C2. Can they get it done? Still plenty healthy when it comes to the overall tickets, but this is where things start to get dicey. This is where your vehicles, they do matter, but more so now it's about your gun skill. It's about your true operators who can get up close and personal and truly make a big impact for your team. And this is where I think medics are going to make the biggest difference, right? This is where you want your stingers, your support roles going big and not allowing your squad to be wiped. You want to continue to push forward. You do not want to give up any ground to the defensive side.
Yeah, these cave pushes are extremely difficult for the attack. These are some of the moments that kind of, like you said, kind of make or break your push because they are so aggressively CQB. You really have to body stack. You've got to use a bunch of smokes. You've got to clear with your operator abilities, talking grenades, talking triple blasters if you're running D-Wolf, anything that can kind of clear the way. Well, if you're mixed well, I guess you pull out Luna and pull out the shock arrow and just hit somebody in the face with it and take them down. But so far, so good. It looks like C1 finally under attack.
Under attack indeed. Making good headway, but the defense seems to be taking it right back. No surprise there. Beaconks, I think we decided on that. Forgive me for not being able to say it properly. But up at the top, by the way,
yeah, you can
when it comes to elims. So, you know, him and Arizo just the two top slayers, at least at this point in time.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is that actually our top 2 players are on the same squad. So at the end of the tournament today, we're going to reveal who the top squad was in game 1. I have some expectation that it's Preep-Walker here, the player on your screen right now, playing with Beaconks. So if they're on the same squad and they're the top 2 players on their respective team, I can only imagine they've got to at least be in the running for top squad of the first game. You can tell they know exactly what they're doing and using everything under the sun in order to grab some of these kills. One of the other weapons I'm seeing a lot of players use in Warfare is this Bison kitted out, where you can shoot it kind of at this hip fire side angle, and it works out great. The SR3M is another weapon I'm seeing a lot of folks use, but watch out for that squad. That's definitely one of the best teams today.
Yeah, well, no surprise because Preep-Walker also is a very talented player when it comes to shooter titles, BR titles, just big map titles. He's kind of done it all, really. His list of accomplishments, at least on his bio, is just, it really blows me away, truly. We have some of the top competitive players across multiple esports now converging onto Delta Force, and they're bringing other skill sets, and they're evolving this game, which is still relatively new, right? Everything is developing over time, every update. I love that. It's a fresh game, a fresh title, but look at this. We're now going to D1. So now that we are here, Goj, what do we need to see? What is at stake?
Here we go. I mean, this is it. This is for the rewards in this map. We need that tower that you can kind of see off in the distance. We'll get a better view of it in a little bit. That tower needs to come down. Destructible environment is a part of Delta Force here. And, well, the tower is a part of that. It is a gigantic tower that needs 3 guided missiles landed on it.
Il est mort, parfait.
Tu gagnes des assists avec le bouclier ou pas?
Attends, faut que je brûle.
Et s'ils prennent le top, les gars, à droite, on est baisés là.
On avance un peu, on avance un peu. Attention, attention. Je vais le vent, je tente tout, Ok, attends, j'ai plus. Ah, on est pas en contrôle, Okay.
Great comms from this team thus far.
They're having a great time.
Oh, they're just down. I think one of the things they're talking about, from what I can tell, is too, is you can see that one of Locklear's teammates is running the brand new operator, Saniva, codenamed Saniva, technically Alexei Petrov, who has that big shield. That's him right there in front of Locklear right now. A big shield, and he's also kind of got like a grappling gun that you can use on enemies and your allies to kind of pull them closer to you.
Okay.
So that's something else that they're probably talking about. But overall, some nice gameplay from this squad.
Big shield, you say? All right. That's going to be interesting. Definitely. I can't wait to see how that one's going to play out. Looking at the overall, of course, we got the tower in the background that needs to get taken down. And so far, I don't think we've had any guided missiles just yet onto the tower, but we still have plenty of time before we hopefully see it collapse. Because, again, everybody goes away a winner if that tower goes down. That overhead view in spectator mode just never gets old, Goj.
I know. And you got a chance to see the tower, and you're like, wait, the big one, like the main part of this map? And you're like, yeah. That giant tower will fall down in the game while we're watching if they can drop 3 guided missiles. So right now, it's about looking at your score and how much score do you need in order to secure a guided missile. The main thing is that players really, one thing we didn't talk about, they really need to make sure to not call any other support system in, because those cost the points that you're earning. You've got to save them so you can get that guided missile and drop it on this tower. I'm curious if we're going to be able to do it. We haven't seen one yet. We got plenty of tickets on this point, and the players got to work together a little bit at this point.
They do, which is going to be hard because you're trying to find that balance of winning the game, defending, right? Because defending, attacking, both of you obviously can win in that regard, but then also playing together in a way to to get that tower.
Nice.
Great shots, right? Oh, okay. First time we see Trillox come alive, by the way. At 13 eliminations, we just saw 4 just in a row. Well done, but that's going to be common. There are so many times to line up several players on the enemy team because it's just such a close quarter fight without question. It does seem like the attacking side is starting to make some great headway, though. I'm getting excited.
Yeah, here we go. Big pushes right now. And again, I think this point D is going to be probably one of the hardest points to take as the attack in theory. The way you usually take this point, because the defense is able to spawn basically on it, is you're going to drop guided missiles. So not only do you need to drop guided missiles to win, but you need to drop guided missiles in order to secure rewards. So we're looking out for those guided missiles, artillery strikes, and everything in between as the players continue to slay out and create that bloodbath we were expecting.
Locklear has such a great line of sight up top. Before he was playing down low, he's getting mixy up close, but you want to utilize this high ground. It's very, very difficult if you're on the attacking side. You go to that left-hand corner, the enemy team is just going to be able to just mow you down without question. Locklear was doing that, but he seems to get a bit restless. He wants to push up. Locklear is a guy who doesn't like to necessarily sit and lock down an angle, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with playing that way. Locklear is a guy that likes to get in your face and go and slay out. He's kind of restless, but for that reason, that's what makes him so exciting to watch.
And it looks like potentially now some players finally earning enough points to drop the guided missiles. Tyson able to get cut down. Again, the SR3M, we're seeing that weapon a lot. Saw an SMG45 as well. And these metal weapons really, really strong. You can see that it looks like maybe we've got a couple players spawning on Dalucard. Looking for an angle with the sniper. This is what I was talking about. Your sniper pretty good at the early game of Ascension and the very late game of Ascension. And is able to pick up potentially some in transition here. There's a nice shot, and here's an overhead look at what it sounds like. Oh, our first guided missile dropped directly on the tower. Gonna need 2 more to bring that tower down, so no kills netted because everybody's going for the rewards. We don't know exactly who called it in, but nice work, whoever you are. You're playing for the team.
All right, so we need 2 more missiles on that tower, so everybody can walk away with a $100 Steam gift card. And Locklear, nice shot with the jump. Can't get the third thing. He's all right, though. He's still feeling good. Again, he's a guy who doesn't like to sit to the wayside. He likes to get up in your face and go big. Now, when that tower does fall, was that a second one?
Yeah, look, you can see it coming in.
Nice.
Bang! Nice hit on the tower. Looks like the tower is likely going to be collapsing here shortly. Just need 1 more. There it is. The Spire Foundation has been damaged, folks. Brand new update here at the Season Starfall. You can bring down the tower, and that tower is going to fall. It's only a matter of time. So I hope we can catch that here on broadcast as our players continue now to try to win the game. We've done it. You hear the sirens.
Oh.
Look at it come down.
Go on, baby. Oh, no. Why'd they kill him? He had the perfect view. He had the perfect view. Do it for the camera. Do it for the stream.
Opportunity knocks, Taylor. Now it's all about the win. We've done the objective. People are going to get the rewards. This tower will eventually fall.
Look at it crumbling. Oh, my gosh. Look at it coming down. That is so... For this to be a free-to-play game, and it to look like this is spectacular.
Yeah, you saw a Crazer, I believe it was, dropping another guided missile, going for kills, and was able to get them. The Spire heavily damaged. There it goes. The tower falls in Ascension as an artillery strike finishes things off on this map.
Epic.
What a way to close out this map. An epic ending and a great finale. You can see the timer coming to a close here to end this game as the Spire has been taken down. Such a cool new addition to this map and a way to kind of end the game on that last point.
That is so cool. Absolutely cool. I love how the map on various maps, right, will change and transform as damage is done to different buildings and different obstacles and objectives. It's so cool. It really is. The map is quite literally transforming right before your eyes. So cool. Okay, so good game. Obviously, the attacking side played a lot better this time around, which is great. And obviously, I say that they were on defense before. Obviously, I'm talking about Trillox as well as Dalucard. I think they improved quite a bit, which makes me excited going in to map number 3. They're playing very, very well, but without question, we've already seen some front runners. Mixwell obviously is already going to be there. Locklear, he's a great player, always getting those flanks, going on the attack. But Rizzo, somebody we got to watch out for. Tyson has now thrown his hat in the ring as well, and there was one more that we're watching out for.
Yeah, Preepwalker was one of the top players on the side of the attack last time around, and was doing pretty well this time. But end of the day, as you can see, the map totally changes. Once this tower has been brought down, it's just a raw timer on the screen. So infinite tickets, game's going to end in 2 minutes no matter what. Obviously, you can push for the point here to potentially try to take it down. You're seeing several more guided missiles finally coming into play here to end this event, as both teams still in just a slaughterhouse of trying to aggress and maybe take down D2, even though the tower has already been brought low.
Right. From the start to the end, Dalucard has been sniping. He refuses to give it up. He has a smile on his face. He's having a blast. Absolute blast. And his aim is getting a little bit better. I will give him that. He's now missing maybe 4 shots and hitting 1, right? So for every 5 shot he hits 1, he's doing a good job. That was caster math for sure. I don't know if that even added up.
Hey, if you got
Dalucard sniping all right.
If you got munitions next to you, just throw bullets down range, man. I don't care about your shot accuracy. Picking up kills, that's all that matters. I'm here for it.
That's it.
Final 60 seconds of this one, though, and it's looking like the defense is going to be able to technically hold this point, albeit the Spire has been lost intentionally. You're going to be able to see this one be closed out, with likely D2 being held by Locklear and his squad to rally up and finish this last round.
Looking good. 35 more seconds remain. Locklear once again on the move. He's going to slay out. Mixwell also was on the flank. Shout out to you, chat, for getting out there, watching their perspectives too, supporting the streamers, supporting the game, and overall supporting this stream that you are watching. We do appreciate you being here. But as it does round out, I had a good time. You know, first map was great on Trainwrecks. This map equally as exciting. I'm just glad that we were able to score a community objective. Not often do we get the cast tournaments, Goj, or a cast events, right, where everybody walks away with the prize, even though they're playing against each other.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I thought it was kind of be close because we were waiting for a little while.
Yeah.
First of all, we've got 12 seconds on the clock. D2 is being captured technically right now. We might end up losing this point. If we're not careful, it's going to be really, really close. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to full cap it in time. And I thought it was going to be close, but in the meantime, there's another guided missile to end off this map. I think we ended up seeing like 8 be called in at the end on point D. So frankly, it wasn't that close. We were able to secure the objective pretty easily, and it does look like Mixwell and co were able to retake the point, close this thing out, and grab a victory at the very end. The sector has been defended. Well done to the side of Locklear and Mixwell, but well done to all of our players, because all 64 players are going to be earning a $100 Steam gift card.
And that's cool. That's really cool to me. And mind you, some of those players who are earning a $100 Steam gift card are ones that were a part of the Discord who got or asked, wanted to be a part of this, and they are now a part of it. They're walking away with some more reasons, right, to join the socials, get involved in the community, and join that Discord. More events like this hopefully are going to be popping up, and your chance to compete as well as earn yourself some gift cards. Hey, it's out there, baby. I love it. Free 99, the best price you could possibly get.
I love it. Well, let's take a quick look back at some of the replays from that map. Certainly, there were some highlights that we saw near the end of it, but also some highlights at the beginning. And, you know, we started off with what we knew we would see, which is the defense allowing us to get to point D because we needed to bring down the tower. But along the way, we needed to pick up a ton of eliminations, and Mixwell, of course, on screen right now, definitely able to do that in the early game, was picking up some crazy kills playing with Luna. Locklear and Dalucard were both sniping towards the beginning, and it paid off. We saw some big plays at the end here from Trilix, you know, able to pick up a triple kill and then some, a couple assists as well. But then it was point D, and it was all about the guided missiles, and we were able to see several come through. You needed 3 in total to bring down the Spire. If you were able to do that, we all are going to receive that $100 Steam gift card, and there comes the damage, heavily damaged, and the Spire eventually crumbles to the ground. A beautiful look from our our spectator view as all of our players get rewarded, and the defense is able to hold on to that final point. So well done to the defense this time around, as they're actually able to go back-to-back wins, winning the attacking side in map 1 and then winning the defense side in map 2. And this time, all rewards having been grabbed.
All rewards grabbed. So Locklear, Mixwell, they just can't be stopped. Like Locklear, every single time I watch him on stream, he's flanking, he's being a nuisance, he's getting those off angles. Mixwell has also been slaying out. How many times have we watched him get a 5-piece, 6-piece, right?
Yeah.
Chicken dinner, baby. He's been doing it. He's looking great. He's looking solid. I'm liking it. Just puts the pressure now on Trillox as well as Dalukard going in to the final game, which, by the way, map 3, what can we expect? What's about to go down as we round out our broadcast?
Yeah, and like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, we kind of have our 2 brand new maps with Season Starfall bordering this Ascension map we just saw. So we are headed to a brand new map. One of the maps I'm really excited to show and talk about. We are headed to Knife's Edge. This is going to be a lot of fun. Now, this is an infantry map. There is not room for vehicles on this map. It's going to be a lot of fun for several reasons. First of all, it's a very linear map, so it's long and not very wide, but it is somewhat deep. You're going to have multiple layers of combat all pushing in the same direction to go point to point to point. But I'd love to take a quick look at that map and show you what you can expect before we hop into it. I know our players are getting ready here, as this is going to be really cool. Knife Edge is fun for several reasons. One of my favorite parts about it is the lore as well. As you can see, it's very linear, like I mentioned, but it's also at the top of the dam. This is technically the top of Zero Dam is where this map is located. So if you kind of look out over the edge, you're going to notice some things you recognize from the operations map Zero Dam. So this will be fun to watch. No vehicles. You're going to see a very linear map, kind of 3 different layers you can push through, and a lot of CQB. So you're going to be seeing a lot of those operator abilities really come into play in these CQB sections. Grenades, magnetic bombs, AT4s, even maybe blowing holes in walls. A lot of things you're going to want to pay attention to be able to breach and clear, as it were, and be able to move to the next point. So really pumped about this map. I know a lot of folks at home that have tried it. One of their favorite maps in Warfare right now, and I totally agree. A very, very fun map to play, Taylor, and I'm excited for you to see it.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic to see it, without question. CQB tells me now the Slayers are truly going to have a chance to showcase how many elims and how destructive they can be with pure gun skill alone. Love that you obviously mentioned the operators and their ability to get involved too, and combine them too. I do like that aspect. A lot of the abilities can be combined, and I think some of the best players do combine abilities in order to maximize their battle on the battlefield. So, it's going to be exciting to see it. I'm really interested how things are going to progress. CQB, that's what I like. It's chaotic, and I like chaos.
Well, that's literally the name of this broadcast. It's Absolute Chaos Live Fest. You know what I mean? So if this is not going to feel like chaos, I don't know what will, right? So you're going to see a lot of CQB. You're going to see a lot of infantry. Overall, I think you're right. In this game, we are looking for the top individual players. The player on each side that receives the most kills gets a $500 Steam gift card in this game. So like you mentioned, it's not about do you get over 100, are you the top squad? This is an individual reward. You're gonna see players going for broke. They're gonna be full sending, trying to slay out this entire lobby. That's the reward for this game. There isn't any other reward for this individual game besides top individual slayer on each side. We're calling them the Blade Runner because they are running the knife edge, and they're gonna run no holds barred. They're gonna go flying at their opponents in order to secure as many kills as humanly possible, Taylor.
As many. So let's put a number on that. What are we thinking? 66 is the highest we've seen so far. But this one, I think, at least the way you're setting up the story here for this very map for Knife Edge, with it being CQB, I'm thinking 80. I'm thinking 80 goes.
Okay. Well, let's take a look on the scoreboard really quickly before we hop in from the last map, and we can kind of compare and contrast to see if the scores maybe are a bit higher. This is from Ascension.
Okay.
Fairly similar scores, but some new names. You see a Rizzo there, down number 5 on the losing side. Land Grab, actually our top individual slayer at 64 kills on the losing side, whereas on the winning side, we got Sushish at 73 kills. Sheesh is right, my friend. Good grief. 73 kills overall, which is way above anybody else. Fun to see as well. Just a quick note, the number 2 player in terms of score on the winning side had less than half of the kills that Sheesh had. There's a ton of ways to earn points, but in this next game, Taylor, we are paying attention to only kills. That is the only metric that matters.
That's right, only metric. So 73, I'm thinking 80 is a good guess now. I mean, because you're thinking that CQB pushing forward, Sushi, out of nowhere, gets 73. I'm thinking 80 is definitely the mark. But gosh, 100 though. The fact that we had that for the metric for game 1, and we still haven't seen that yet. That's a pretty high and high bar, I think, to reach. But yeah, land grab, Sushish, obviously Arizo, and then the 2 more that we mentioned a little bit earlier. So I think we're having like at least 5 to 8 players who are definitely in the running to get that that $500, as you mentioned, with the elimination. So like I said 80 elims. Do you want to challenge that? You want to go above, below? Maybe you're right on par with me. What are you thinking?
So to be honest with you, probably accidentally, because I know you, I think you're right on the money. Yeah, honestly, honestly, I think your 100 kill games usually come down to players utilizing vehicles. I've seen some of our top players. Yes, they can sprint around the map and get a ton of kills in CQB or otherwise with some of the best guns in the game. And especially if you've got really good aim. I mean, you can slay out, go on 10, 12, maybe even 20 kill sprees. But vehicle gameplay usually is what nets you a ton of kills on these maps in Warfare. And without vehicles really having a place at all in Knife Edge, I think 80 is probably going to be the upper limit. Now, I want somebody to surprise me. I want to see 3 digits on your kill feed. We'll see, though. They're going to really have to pop off. One of the ways to do that, frankly, is you're going to be holding one of these really small choke points, maybe with an LMG, maybe with one of our ARs or SMGs that you can put a really big mag on, and potentially you could rack up a ton of kills. But you got to do it where you've got a pretty good amount of cover so that you make sure you don't get picked off by, frankly, just a random errant grenade usually will clear you out with the amount of operator abilities that get thrown through these choke points. So I think it'll be difficult to do things like that, but definitely not impossible. So absolutely, we could see somebody over 100 kills, but I'm expecting somewhere around 80 for our top player on both sides. And I'm just excited to see maybe if some of the play styles of some of these players changes because they know they have to be the top player on each team, not just in score, but in kills only.
And it does benefit one team to finish the game early, in my opinion, because the longer the game goes on, the more of an opportunity to rack up more eliminations for those players going for, obviously, the most elims, right, to earn that $500. So if I'm the attacking side more specifically, right, which, speaking of which, who is going to be on the attack this time? Do you know, Ghosh?
Yeah, we're going to swing it back. So it's going to be Locklear and Mixwell back on the attack again on this next map. And one of the things we were talking about while we've got a little bit of time here, we're getting our players ready to go, they're about to hop in, is some of the meta, some of the new operators. I mentioned Saniva, aka Alexei Petrov. Let's learn a little bit more about him. Released here with the season Starfall. You're gonna want to check this out. Very cool operator if you haven't tried him out yet.
Alexei Petrov, call sign Saniva, engineer operator. With vast combat experience and exceptional endurance, he's a tactical expert who embodies resilience on the battlefield. His heavy defensive gear makes him a human fortress. As a seasoned operative, he provides unwavering security and steady leadership, shaping the next generation with his calm and decisive approach.
Armor standing by.
Quickly don heavy protective armor to significantly reduce incoming damage. Saniva is also equipped with a retractable blast shield to block incoming bullets, and a shield bash ability to knock down enemies or deflect thrown objects.
Poison crap out! Got you! On me!
Season Starfall is here and Suniva is here. Such a cool video. I'm glad we had a chance to show that here on broadcast. There are so many rewards, by the way, and new content in this new Starfall season. I've been very impressed with what Delta Force has been able to offer. We got brand new season passes with a ton of rewards you can use in both game modes. One of my favorite parts about the season pass, by the way, is that you can dictate what you use it on. You don't have to get the deluxe version that gives you rewards for both operations and warfare if you only play one mode. I would definitely encourage you to play both modes, but if you're just a warfare aficionado, you can pick up the season pass just for warfare, which I think is a really cool value add and a way to kind of maximize the value of your dollar if you're able to pick up that season pass. But there's other rewards that you get just in this new Starfall season. We got a quick graphic for that as well. We're waiting on this last game to get started. Season Starfall has a lot of rewards, even if you just log in, folks. This is really cool stuff, and I want to show that here if we can with this new rewards, because there's a lot of cosmetics you can pick up from your weapons, a lot of fun things across the board with this Starfall season. So here's a quick look at it. We got some Turbricks, armament vouchers. You can see the M14 new map event. You've got even vehicle skins with the burgundy there. Then you get a lot of these just for logging into the actual game or doing some of the missions that are available. So definitely check out Season Starfall. It's a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying the new content here. There's new weapons and obviously the new operator we just talked about. So wanted to shout out this new season. Go get your hands on it. And if you're a big fan of either of these modes or both of these modes, pick up that deluxe season pass. A lot of cool stuff, Taylor. But I'm excited. Speaking of cool stuff, I'm excited about this brand new map. I'm excited to get into Knife Edge. I think we're almost ready for the game where we get to showcase more of the new content that Season Starfall has to offer.
Yeah, so cool thing, by the way, just to reiterate what you said, the fact that you can split, right, game modes and maximize your dollar, that is super cool and very unique when it comes to, passes that you can buy in-game and stuff. So that is really awesome. So like that Delta Forces and the team behind Delta Force, I should say, has thought about that and really maximizing their player base and allowing them to get what they want, right? And play what they want and have their own ecosystem within each game mode. Obviously we want you to cross-pollinate and try all of them, but the fact that you can, go in between or just, main one, I think that's really cool. And again, free to play game. Get out there, download it, go play it. There's so many different ways to get involved in the community, so many different ways to get involved with the game. Delta Force, it's fun, and there's no harm in picking it up, trying it out. I promise you, you're going to love it. So, Knife's Edge, Goj, we're about to hop into it.
Yeah,
we got some money on the line. We're switched up attack and defense. I can't wait to get it started.
Here we go. Knife Edge is here, folks. We're looking for the top player on each side. The top individual slayer on each side will receive a $500 Steam gift card. Let's jump into game 3. Let's jump into Knife Edge and see what this map has to offer. I'm excited to see if maybe our expectations are correct. Are we going to see 80+ kill totals from a single individual? Here we go. Let's take a look at it. Such an aesthetically cool map as you go diving into it for the very first time. You get to see the overarching view and down below view of what is Zero Dam from operations as you charge into, well, the Knife's Edge at the top of the dam.
Oh, it is cool. I'm loving this. Graphically, it's so cool. It really is. And I think it's hard, if you haven't picked up Delta Force and you haven't played big map games like this, it's hard to understand how big this map truly is, how big really all the maps 32 versus 32 are. It's spectacular, it really is. And it gives you an opportunity to play in so many different ways, off angles, flanks, go full send at your opponents. But we're going in for the building immediately. Because we have switched sides, you will be watching Locklear and Mixwell on the same squad, or excuse me, on the same team, 32 I should say, and their different respective squads now on the attack. Now, last time we watched them on the attack was on that new map earlier on Trainwreck, and they did such a great job going through each and every point, only to hit a bit of a brick wall towards the end, but they still got through it. They are now 2-0 on our 3 maps we're seeing tonight. Can they go 3 for 3? Well, obviously, we got to ask the man on your screen, Locklear, what he's up to.
Yeah, let's do a quick listen in here with Locklear's squad and see how they aggressively push towards this very first point.
T'es full heal, vas-y.
Plus d'avant. Oh là là, je suis tout blanc.
Je te heal. J'ai mis une smoke sur ta longue là, comme ça t'es safe.
Ah, sur la route là.
Je te pré-heal.
Je les vois pas, il y a que des smokes en fait. C'est tout blanc. Il est où mon clic-clic là? C'est qui mon nerf, mon clic-clic là?
Vas-y, vas-y, vas-y.
Non.
Allez, Cyclope là, travaille là.
I really love this setup from Locklear and Co. Able to see a little bit behind the scenes of what they're able to do to push around the side of this point, pick up A extremely quickly, and go swinging back on to the new point B1 and B2. Now this is where we're going to start pushing more interior to start taking some of these points, and it does look like Locklear has set up with the Stinger operator to change things up a little bit, playing a little bit more support for a couple of these first points. Definitely seems valuable for his team. But here's a quick look at the overhead view of what will be some of the first interior positioning from some of the players pushing out of some of these points. Really fun to watch both of these teams try to make a play here in the first, the beginning, if you will, of Knife Edge. But here's a look at the interior. Some of the first couple CQB fights, smokes galore. It is going to be chaos, just like the name suggests. I am really excited to be watching this from both sides as we take a look at some of our other streamers today. Aggressively pushing. Now again, Preep Walker, as expected, one of the top players in the first map, back on attack, is already at the top of the leaderboard for his team. We are looking for the top individual Slayer from both sides. And so Preep Walker currently leading the charge. As you can see, like I had mentioned too, to breach through some of these choke points or defend them, you're going to be using some of those operator abilities. So maybe you're playing an engineer and you're able to use your very own kind of personal guided missile. Definitely could be valuable. But at the end of the day, grenades, smoke grenades, everything in between, it's going to be incredibly valuable and cause more utter chaos in points like this.
Chaos, chaos. That's what we like. Attacking side looking good. They're going into B1 and B2. And they are making great headway. Again, it behooves the attacking team to finish this early, especially for your top Slayers. You do not want to give a chance to Trillock, Stalukard on the defensive side to accumulate eliminations. You want that $500, and you want it to go to someone on your roster, which is absolutely going to be the case here. Liking what I'm seeing. Squads are moving up, playing together. In the meantime, though, back on board with God here, who we've seen quite a few times. Obviously, Arizo is the one that we're going to be really looking out for. We don't have his perspective, but at one point, he was the top Slayer in Game 1 with 66 eliminations. That was only bested in Game 2 by Sushish at 73. So some high-scoring eliminations out there. Oh, it just caught, I think, 14. I think 15 now is the highest number.
Yeah, and we're splitting B1 and B2 right now for the attack and defense. We'll see. As this squad back on your screen again from a different perspective, trying to push forward. Some nice team play here from the squad. There's a reason this squad has definitely been one to watch out for, by the way. Extremely impressive to be able to play together. I think that's been the key to success for all of our teams, is coordinated attacks. So valuable.
Without a doubt. Having a good leader, right? Being able to guide you. And really on a squad-to-squad basis. And how do you kind of... Oh, nice shots, by the way. Good stuff. Making great headway onto B1 to keep it defended. But how do you manage that? I mean, at least from your perspective, Goes, you've got these individual squads, but all these squads are working together on a 32-person team. I mean, you obviously can't have someone guiding all 32 members. So you think maybe you come up with a game plan early on where your squad has a certain way of playing, a certain way of attacking objective that complements the other squads?
I think so. I mean, that's Formai's got on the other side picking up Locklear, which is the squad we were just watching with Eisen and Arizon. And I absolutely. I mean, I saw in Discord some of the teams, they have a general chat between them, and they were talking a little bit about strategy. But one of the ways you can really dictate the flow of your team is using your respawn beacons correctly. You have your personal one you can use for your individual squad. Nice push here from Locklear's squad. I think they're able to trade kills. But also the team respawn beacons that you can pick up with your support systems is incredibly valuable because it's one way to just direct the flow of traffic for your team. You can set up a respawn spot that is not on, you know, your main respawn, and you can say, hey, this is the way we're going, and if you die, this is where you're going to respawn because you're just going to be the closest to the action.
So many people in this close confined space. I did see Mixwell up there. Now we switch on board with Dalucard, who sniper is now gone. Doesn't really make sense to rock a sniper, at least at this point in time. So SMG is going to be in hand, and he's looking to get Mixie up close and personal. Go ahead and making sure his teammates know exactly where they need to shoot. Like that, really do on the defensive side. B1 is controlled from the defense. Oh, hold up, Dalucard, my heart, baby. Good shots. I've been waiting for you to heat up all game. I saw the snipes earlier, but now I get to see you up close and personal, baby, slaying out with the SMG. And I'm liking what I'm seeing. This is the Dalucard I've been watching for many years.
Yeah, obviously really talented and always going to get cut down here and there, but Dalucard's actually on 21 kills already, so actually got a pretty good stat line going thus far. Again, our score line is not going to matter, so we're actually going to have to kind of glance at the leaderboard and then kind of like peruse ourselves to look for the top kills. But I'm pretty impressed, 21 already, as we're kind of splitting B1 and B2 still. Been a pretty hard point to push through, but also you want to kind of, as an individual, kind of waylay this a little bit. Oh, the onslaught is here, and these are the moments that I was talking about where you can pick up a ton of kills if you're able to hold an angle. But that was too many players for Dalucard's comfort. So he's backing up, setting up, and it's working out perfectly.
Indeed. Oh! Oh, he pulled it out just in the wrong time. He'll get back up on his feet, though. Make no mistake. Oh, well, maybe he'll go ahead and finish himself off. It's hard for your medics in this chaos up close like this in these CQB fights to truly risk going for a revive because it exposes you so much. So sometimes it's better just to kind of take care of yourself and get yourself out of the way. 198 tickets. Defense, I give them credit. They put up a wonderful fight. They're stopping the attacking side without question. How far and how deep can they go? If they can get the attacking side below 100 tickets, I would say that's a great success.
Yeah, I totally agree. So far, doing really well, and I think Mixwell and Co. recognize that and are have to figure out, hey, we got to push on to these points. We got to move on to the next one. We still got a lot of ground to make up. Like, these people are very competitive. They want to win. So they got to push for B2 ASAP in order to move on. Again, it's looking like, of course, you can see at the top of the middle of your screen, we're on B1, B2. We still have C and then D on this map. There's still a long way to go. You're going to get a little bit of a refund. Whoa! This player was going way back in the spawns to try to get those kills. Speaking of somebody playing aggressive for the individual kill bounty, I mean, hey, fair enough.
Mixwell likes to get mixy. Chat was calling him out, right? He likes to go on those off angles, on the flanks. A lot of fans out there for Mixwell without question. I would love to see him at the top, but you got a lot of competition like Arizzo, who's currently up there. I didn't see the number, unfortunately. I did see 17 on the other side, but Arizzo is looking to win at $500 for himself. Again, the highest we've seen him get is 66. But we'll see how I continue to go. But yeah, 156 tickets now. I'll tell you what, defense is doing a wonderful job. They've got to get back, I believe, B1, though, at this point.
All right.
Nichts tun, nichts.
Boah,
Nada.
ich hab einen Double Kill.
Hey, wovon?
Trilex is trying to use the D-Wolf operator, which I can definitely respect. Triple Blaster pretty valuable for some of these choke points. Unfortunately, there are some players that are flying around this map like they are a chaotic kill fiend, because that's frankly what they are. They are trying to get extremely aggressive, even if it doesn't behoove their team for a success on the point. They're just trying to get as many kills as possible. There's a lot on the line here, Taylor.
There is a lot on the line indeed, man. Attacking, what can they do a little bit better? Where are they starting to struggle? Because this is the first time outside of map 1 on Trainwrecks where, you know, obviously, D1 and D2 at the final, they obviously struggled. They had a lot more tickets though going into it, but I mean, this is the most I've seen the attacking side truly hit a brick wall against the likes of Trilox and Dalucard.
Well, this is what they need to do. Able to pick up a couple rescues so we have at least some bodies on the point, finally taking B2. But the tug of war is happening. Take a look at the top middle of your screen. They are losing B1 while they capture B2. So you have to have a strike force swing back to B1 and hopefully break up this defense, who has just said, yeah, no problem. You can have B2. We'll just take back B1 and we'll keep trading until you guys are out of tickets and out of lives. And that's exactly what's happening. Look at that. B2 has been captured by the attack, and B1 has been nearly fully captured back by the defense, and the tug of war will continue with now less than 100 tickets remaining for the attackers, or at least exactly 100. I thought we'd lose one while I was saying that, and apparently not, but did a great job of getting some rescues. 100 tickets on the board.
Yeah, so now 99, we do lose that life. So now, as far as I'm concerned, the defense has already won, at least going into the next objectives. They haven't won the game, right, but they've done a large number of damage, or a big amount of damage, I should say, onto the attacking side. At this point, any amount of eliminations they get from this point is going to be even better for the defensive side. But now it seems as if the attacking side is starting to make great headway. They've got B2, and now they're capturing B1. And I think we're about to finally move on from this 2-point position, unless defense has a miracle play and is able to back them off. But I think we're moving forward, and we definitely will. Back up to 204 tickets, but man, it got close there. And again, shout out to the defensive side. They did a wonderful job on those last 2 objectives.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Great work, and you can see there's a little like plus 110 or so tickets according to our top middle of our screen, 204 currently. So yeah, about 110, 115 given to the attack. Plenty to work with theoretically for this next point to be the penultimate point for them. The big thing is they need to use them wisely, though. They can't take as long as they did for B1 and B2 moving into point C, which is where you're going to see a ton of CQB. It's going to be a lot of this type of a fight. Everybody interior. Now, there is verticality to this map. There are multiple lanes you can kind of push. It doesn't have to be just this one stairwell, but now you got to grab C1 and C2. Now, as a reminder, sorry, I misspoke earlier. It's not a, there's no point D. It is just C1 and C2, which honestly is harder. You're going to have 2 points you have to capture. The tug of war is back, and you have less tickets to work with. So a big moment here for the attackers. If they want to go undefeated on the day, they have to win right here.
Now ready to defense to set up a brick wall, not allowing the attacking side to go further, even just one step. I mean, they've done such a good job from this point forward. This is, mind you, guys, the last chance to get eliminations to try and finish up at the very top. Arizo, I believe, is still the guy to watch out for. He's been leading in terms of elims since really the very start. Making quick work, though, on the attacking, or excuse me, on the defensive side, getting C1 back into their hands, but attacking side focused on C2. There is, I mean, look at the choke points you've got to push through, not only for the defensive side, but also the attacking side. Look how narrow it is. And plus the smoke. I mean, talk about chaos.
Yeah, this is the definition of chaos. So many magnetic bombs, triple blasters, frag grenades. Good grief. Quick glance at the leaderboards. I'm seeing probably top scores on one side of somewhere around 30, mid to high 30s, maybe a 40 on the other side. So some pretty decent numbers, a little bit lower than maybe we expected because this has been fairly competitive on both sides. But even still, some fraggers on both of these teams going for that top prize position.
Nein, ich will doch da noch
Right.
spawnen, das war so witzig.
Chat, what are you thinking?
Ich möchte
Attack,
doch mal dahin.
defense. Who gets the job done? And if you want to get really bold, who gets the most eliminations by the end of the game? Let us know. Who's going to win that 500? Looking through, Capiche has jumped up. I think there's one player just above him, but yeah, Capiche. Land grab also back in the mix. That was a name you shouted out on the leaderboard after map 2.
Yeah, as to be expected, right? Like, if you're able to get a lot of kills in other maps, this map certainly probably still in your skill set. The exception to that rule is, of course, if you're a vehicle aficionado, not gonna be able to use vehicles this time around. This is all about the gunplay and gunplay where you are barrel stuffing your opponents. Talking about CQB, why not just pull out an M870? I mean, my goodness, little one tap to the face right into the mix. I'm loving it. Looking at our kill totals again, I'm seeing some low 40s, high 30s, kind of our metric right now for success if you want to be the top player.
Elzen was also in the mix with 38, so you got a lot of people going for it. Sheesh, there with 40, so he's currently going to be the leader, but it's going to change quickly. 122 tickets for the attacking side. They go to capture C1 and C2, and they are making some good headway. Can the attack get it done? Can Locklear and Mixwell go 3 for 3 today? And for Locklear, keep his pristine record in these Delta Force tournaments. I don't know if he's lost yet.
Yeah, and a quick look at the defending side. In trouble. They've lost C2, losing C1, but Formai's God and his whole squad are laying siege to this point and ruining people's day. I mean, the amount of kills this squad as a team has been able to put up today is astronomical, but they're about to lose. It looks like they've lost C1, but are slowly but surely, frankly, on the back of this team, taking back C2 to keep their dreams alive in this one. A big moment and a crucial take back of C2. The tug of war has certainly started. They were losing, but they are starting to slowly but surely bring it back to even.
Okay, 84 tickets. Not a lot to work with, really, and they're starting to bleed quickly, and you set the pacing right, Goj, when you talked about, obviously, normally you're going to just a single objective that you got to capture. Here you've got two in C1 and C2. So going into it with just 200 tickets for the attacking side, it seems as if maybe they needed just a little bit more. We're at a standstill. The defense has managed to stop the bleeding for just a little bit of time, but as we continue to switch on to the defensive side, Dollar Card will fall. I think the attacking side might be able to get the job done.
They have swapped back. C2 now ends in the hands of the attack, and C1 in trouble, but slowly headed back to the defense. This is going to quite literally come down to the wire. The defense making a massive move to take both points back right now. And with only 47 tickets, you're totally right. It is going to be so close as C1 again exchanging hands and again going back to the attack. And now with the respawn beacon, able to make a quick move to C2. This is a crucial fight. We are running out of runway. If we want to win this game, we got to do it right now. And a massive flank from Locklear and his team because of this respawn beacon could be a deciding factor. Keep paying attention top middle as Locklear goes down, aggressively coming. Look at those points. It's going to be close. 28 tickets, but C1 and C2 going to the attack right now. The final seconds of this game. This could not be any closer.
But C1, the defense has managed to get it down to halfway capped, and in fact, they might even be able to get it all the way. So now you're running out of tickets if you're the attacking side. You've got C2, but you still have to maintain it, and now you got to try and retake C1 for yourself. But artillery is going to be called, but how much of an effect is it going to have, Goj?
I don't think it's going to have too much of an effect. There's not a lot of room for some of our support systems to get into some of these interiors right on the point. You maybe can pick up some people that are spawning on the outside, but with 10 seconds remaining and a full recapture of C1 for the defense, I think our defense is finally going to get a win here at the final hour of the final map. We'll see if maybe they're able to at least force overtime and make a play in the last 30 seconds or so. But with a full recap of C1, I think the defense might just win this.
Yeah, I think they might. It's going to have to be a miracle run for the attacking side. Just 6 more tickets remaining. Now 5. And you got to get over to C2, or C1, I should say. 3 tickets now. And will we have a win finally onto the side of Trulox and Dalucard? And yes, we will. Hey, they only get 1 out of the 3 maps, but they still got a victory. And in my opinion, Goj, that is massive, because that's the first time, at least I've seen, the team of Locklear, or any team that he's on, right, representing whether it be France, representing that even Spain with Mixwell, take an L, and they did so on the new map.
It was so close, though. When they were at about 25 tickets or so remaining, 25 lives for their team, they had 1 point fully capped and the other one like 60% captured. It was that close, but that's how difficult it is to take the final point away from the defense because of where the defense spawns. They can very quickly flip-flop back and forth, and you have to have a coordinated strike on both points in order to maintain control for that iota of a moment so that you can pick up the win. Very close, but big congratulations to Dalucard and Trilix. Massive win there in the final moments of the final map. Albeit you still lose overall in the record, you got a win under your belt, which is a huge success. A very fun map, by the way, looking at Knife Edge. Let's take a look back on that map and some of the crazy gameplay moments that we got to see, because there were some fun CQB fights that I'm excited to look back on in our replays.
Oh, yeah. No, it was. This map was fun. And you pointed it out best, man. Those CQB fights were intense from a multitude of perspectives. I mean, we saw that when we were able to capture that one live, which was great. Mixwell going through the gauntlet, through the corner. Nice shot and through the smoke as well, which I mean, come on. This guy is literally transcending levels in that clip and still managing to pick up elims. Mixwell did not disappoint, but neither did Locklear. You saw the passion he had towards the end when he knew they were going to lose. The comms were getting chaotic, but one thing about Locklear that you have to respect is he's going to give it his all to the very end.
Wow, that was so close. Mixwell had definitely some clip-worthy moments as well. Really prefers to play the Lunar Operator, which I can respect on a map like this. Definitely helps to be able to see through the smoke, but like you said, Dalucard had some great moments. This squad was a squad I've got to continue to keep my eyes out for. They really dominated today as a team of 4. That's going to be Formai's God, Aizen, Arizo, and Co. A great team. And really one of the reasons I think that the defense was able to secure a victory in the final moments. They were putting up some crazy numbers. Now, speaking of crazy numbers, our admin team behind the scenes is doing a lot of math right now. What I saw on the leaderboard is anybody in the high 40s, low 50s, depending on where you're at, which team you're playing for, are going to be your top players from that last one. And so because of that, I think there's a lot of players kind of in the running, and we'll see who actually had the most individual kills at the end of the day. We're going to be doing some math to calculate all of the different rewards because there's a lot of them. We've got Unstoppable Force, we've got the Fierce Frontline, the Tower Crasher, and the Blade Runner, and all of those rewards are ready. So Taylor, let's talk about our prizing and let's see who all of the different players are that receive some prizing today. Let's bring up all of those prizing rewards in just a moment. Let's take a look back at the standings of this last map while they do all of that map. Let's look at that leaderboard from the last one because this is going to dictate a lot. Now, look at these score lines. You can see LOIO on the side of the Vipers, top score, but we're looking for top kills. And just like you said, Orizo on the right-hand side, on the winning side, dropping 53 kills, likely, not necessarily, but likely going to be our top individual slayer on that side. Whereas on the other side, on the losing side, it's looking like Psycop potentially at 48, pending there's not somebody out of the top 10 somehow on scores that has a higher individual kill total.
That's right. Orizo has been phenomenal all day long. He started off as the top elimination leader when it came to game number 1. Obviously, there was not a prize for that one, but unless you, of course, reached over 100 eliminations, which did not happen. But in map 3, Orizo seems to be the front runner at the time being with 53. Good on him. But it comes to show you guys, look, even though we're focused on eliminations here, $500 prize, there's so many different ways to have an impact on your team, whether you're slaying out and being that main slayer, whether you're playing those off angles, or more importantly, what I personally enjoy and think is the most impactful, being the medic, right? Going in and getting those reses so you don't lose your positioning, so you get your teammates back into the fight. You save your tickets if you're on the attacking side. There's so many different ways to provide an impact to your team, but at least as of right now, the biggest impact was Orizo with the eliminations at 53. Of course, we're tallied the scores officially, but he's the front runner. $500. Hey, that's no joke for playing some Delta Force.
Yeah, you can pick up a lot of stuff on Steam with $500 gift card to Steam. That's a big win. But we'll get the final calculations in because we got to double and triple check all of the score lines. We got to take a look back on who the Unstoppable Force was from the first map. The top 4 players, the top squad of that game 1 on Trainwreck. Of course, we do know that, yeah, the tower, it was crashed, and therefore all players will receive a $100 Steam gift card from game 2. I know we didn't get to any players over 100 kills, so no prizing there. And then the Blade Runner, which is the final prize of the day, which is what we were just talking about, top individual kills from that map. While we wait on that math here, Taylor, I would love to hear from you. What was your favorite map of the day? With 3 totally different maps, totally different terrain, totally different types of fights. What do you think? Which one's your favorite?
Well, Ascension, for me, takes the cake just simply because of the tower going down. I thought cinematically it was beautiful. I love that the two teams had to work together. The different elevations was incredible. Really sad we missed that elevator moment. I would have loved to have seen them get blown up as soon as the ding goes off, they open up the elevator. That would have been crazy. But having a chance to see Trainwreck was wonderful. I love how it starts, and I like how it progresses. It's kind of post-apocalyptic in a way. It's kind of a special map, unique visually at least, and plenty of opportunity, I think, to grow on that map given the fact that it is new. I would like to see what kind of strategies develop. I like the elevation too. I believe it's on the 3rd objective where you have the train tracks. You're locking that down and you're overlooking that lower ground. It seems like a power play. It is a power position, but after all, you do got to be careful to shoot the people down below. You do have to overexpose yourself, not only to snipers, but also, well, any type of barrage to take you down. So there is a give and take, but Trainwreck was fun. But Knife's Edge is super interesting to me. First time, at least, getting a chance to look at it for myself, but it goes the reason why that map kind of almost takes the cake for me today is because of the final objective. You said it best. It's not a solo objective like so many other maps are, at least at the very end. You've got the split. Because, honestly, because luckily our mixed mode we're not able to get that win at the end speaks volumes about how hard it's going to be for the attacking side, specifically on those final 2 objectives. So for Knife Edge, I'm looking at teams and players to really learn and utilize how to attack that more efficiently, because it's not going to be easy to close it out against the defensive side. So if you're on defense going into Knife Edge, I think you've got a tremendous advantage until the attacking side and, well, your subreddits and your discords kind of figure out how to play that map. But right now, Knife Edge, hey, the attacking side, they're gonna have to really work hard for it, because defense, they're looking pretty good.
That is a fantastic recap of the day's action, Taylor. Frankly, you broke down every map, and I appreciate that. I think it was really fun. I totally agree. I think my favorite map probably is going to be Knife Edge. I think it's just a really unique map. It's very different from the other maps we were able to see today, but I like them all as well. So I love the breakdown there. Let's take one more quick look at that format graphic just to remind you of all the different prizes and how it all worked today before we reveal the final numbers. I think we are going to talk a little bit about this, because one of the things I wanted to talk about with this format is, one, all of our maps were very uniquely different, like you broke down.
Sure.
But in particular, with those maps, we had very unique rewards for those maps, which made the gameplay totally different. Like, I think maybe our Ascension map, totally different result if we didn't need to get to the final point in order to crash that tower for the overall rewards. So I don't know, it's just fun to talk about and fun to think about, of like all the different nuanced scenarios. If you all haven't tried out Warfare, definitely go give it a try. It's a ton of fun. Show me some vehicles, show me some crazy clips on the timeline. But all right, folks, I've asked for a lot from you, and thank you for your patience. We are here. Prizing is ready. The final results are in. Let's roll the graphic. Let's see who is the top squad, who is the unstoppable force, who are the Blade Runners. Here's a look at all of our winners today. Let's start at the end and work our way back. Our Blade Runners from the Knife Edge map we just saw, as we expected and we saw on broadcast. Psycop, Arizo, very well done. Congratulations, your top individual slayers from the Knife Edge map, both walking away with a $500 Steam gift card. Of course, our tower was destroyed, which means everybody gets a $100 Steam gift card. But in Fierce Frontline, this is where we missed the mark. People couldn't quite get over 100 kills, and frankly, it was because the map was finished so quickly. The attack won with pretty aggressive skill through each of those points so quickly that there just wasn't enough game to be played. But then there was our Unstoppable Force team, and I'm gonna be honest, not saying I called it, but I called it. When I saw that B-Conks and Preep-Walker were on the same team and they were the top players in that map, I assumed they would be your winning squad, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. A very impressive stuff from that squad, and as such, they're winning $500 apiece, Taylor.
I like it. $500 for playing a couple of hours. I'm sure they're going to play for a couple hours more even after this broadcast ends. I hope you guys also go and play and try out the new maps and just see if you guys enjoy it. But a lot of money, right, being thrown around for Delta Force. And let's not forget, by the way, again, we had some wonderful creators involved that were invited here, but there were also some guys out there, guys and gals potentially, who were invited to play today from the Discord. So join that Discord and get involved. You might have a chance to be playing in the next Delta Force tournament or a broadcast that we have here.
It was a ton of fun, and all of our players slayed out. Again, I see you in chat. Psycop dominated that last round. Very well done. Arizo, LOIO, that whole squad, so incredibly impressive across the board. And I think one of the other things, you know, I see LOIO in chat. It's probably Leo or something like that, but a top scorer today, regardless of kills. Like you mentioned, you get to play Warfare however you want, and there's a lot of different ways to earn score, and it totally paid off for that team. So congratulations to all of our winners today. You all were able to earn the right to be able to receive those rewards, which is really impressive stuff. I love that we were able to kind of variate the rewards in that way. But Taylor, any final thoughts for the broadcast? It was a blast having you back in the booth with me for another amazing Warfare event with some regional chaos from all over the world.
Yeah, Goj, I appreciate you, man. Delta Force, first off, thank you all for having me here, whether you're a viewer, spectator, developer. Look, Delta Force is a great game. The fact, and I said this before, and I'll say it again, the fact that this game is free to play is crazy to me. The amount of updates, the amount of just things that are constantly developing and changing, the way that the developer continues to listen to the community, look at the stats, and develop the game in a positive way, continuing to move this game forward in a great way is incredible. Delta Force, this isn't the last time you've seen it. In fact, you're going to continue to see it more and more. It's free to play. Get involved. Sign up onto the communities, onto the socials. Get onto that Discord. We want to hear from you. And Goj even shouted out. He wants to start seeing your clips. Send them. Tag us in it. Tag whoever you need to. But the point is, go play it. I'm going to be playing it, and I hope to see you all out there.
I love it, Taylor. As always, verbose and frankly grandiose with the way you close things out, man. I love all of your analysis today. I love casting with you, and I'm excited for the next show with you. Thanks to Taylor. Get some hearts in the chat for Taylor for joining me. Folks, what an incredible broadcast today. It has been absolute chaos, as expected. We named it that for a reason. It has been nuts because that's what warfare is. Thank you for tuning into the broadcast. As a couple quick reminders, first and foremost, like Taylor said, go download Delta Force. There's a ton of ways to do that. Epic Game Store, Steam, and of course on the website for PC. Go get involved, go get some gameplay in, and try out Operations. Honestly, I love both modes. I oftentimes will play Warfare into Operations in order to warm up for some of the gunplay in Operations. And there's also a brand new limited time game mode called Hot Zone that you got to try out. We had an event for that a couple days ago. And another great way to warm up some of your shots without losing your stash in Operations. But also follow Delta Force on all major socials. We've been harping on this all day today for a very specific reason. It's the best way to get your voice heard and to get all of your questions answered. So make sure you drop a follow on all major socials. Pay attention for events like this and join that Discord for several reasons. One, it's a great source of information, great way to ask the devs questions, but also if you attach your Discord account to your official Delta Force account, you're gonna get 100 Delta tickets. A huge win across the board, and everything's gonna be synced up for you. So go get your Delta Force ticket. The final note I have for you today, and then I gotta close this thing out, is let's take one more quick look at the 2025 roadmap. Season Starfall is here, and the Black Hawk co-op campaign is right around the corner, but there is so much content coming down the line in the ecosystem and the roadmap here with Delta Force. So many cool things, and this isn't all. This is just a snippet of everything coming for Delta Force in 2025. So you got to tap in, you got to stay involved, you got to pay attention to all the updates coming out. Each of these seasons are going to be so much fun with a bunch of brand new content, like the new maps we were able to showcase today, like the new operators and everything in between. So shout out to you all for tuning into the broadcast. As a quick reminder, we couldn't do it without you, the viewers. So thanks for tuning in. It's been a pleasure being your host today. I'm Goj, and I'll see you in the next show.
Otro. Avanzo, avanzo. Muerto. Salido de la varita. Sí, igual.
Un ici et un à droite. Tu peux triple nade à gauche.
Ils sont morts, là.